Chapter 32:28. Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow hid in the demonic mountain. With the chaotic clouds concealing their auras, those beasts did not discover their tracks. What surprised Zhao Ritian was that bastard darkness Lingxiao. He did not know where he had brought the Sky Incense Emperor to, but they were not discovered by the beasts either. He felt that it was a pity. In the end, those beasts did not discover the aura of any living beings when they arrived at the demonic mountain. They also did not discover the source of the phenomenon. After patrolling around, they could only leave unwillingly. Phew, we're finally safe. Zhao Ritian took a deep breath. His eyes were filled with joy. This time, entering the demonic abyss could be considered a blessing in disguise. He had obtained the Tao fruit and his cultivation had broken through to the seventh heaven of the immortal emperor realm. Even if he wanted to become an immortal emperor in the future, he would have more hope than others. At this moment, Zhao Ritian saw Darkness Lingxiao and the Sky Incense Emperor walking out of the demonic mountain. Darkness Lingxiao was dressed in a black robe. He was tall and handsome, and his face was cold and domineering. The demonic aura around him was monstrous, and he exuded an insufferably arrogant aura. The Sky Incense Emperor's eyes were like silk as she leaned against Darkness Lingxiao. Her face was filled with happiness and she was very docile. Adulterous couple! Zhao Ritian could not help but curse in his heart when he saw the two of them. What made Zhao Ritian feel even worse was that Darkness Lingxiao's cultivation had broken through again. He was now a sixth heaven of the immortal emperor realm. When Zhao Ritian met Darkness Lingxiao, he was only a third heaven of the immortal emperor realm. How long had it been since then? He had broken through 3 realms consecutively. Even with Zhao Ritian's amazing luck, he could not help but feel shocked at this moment. Brother Ritian, you and I have gone through thick and thin together. Why don't we continue on the eternal emperor path together? Darkness Lingxiao smiled at Zhao Ritian. How could he let Zhao Ritian off so easily? He had a deep understanding that Zhao Ritian was simply the illegitimate son of the heavens. His luck was heaven-defying, and he could find supreme treasures wherever he went. If he followed Zhao Ritian, Darkness Lingxiao's cultivation might break through to the immortal emperor realm very soon. Moreover, Zhao Ritian was a simple-minded person. Go together? If you want to follow me, then you can be my follower. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Since this guy who called himself the Demon Lord was related to Ling Xiao and seemed to be extremely powerful, Zhao Ritian thought that he would be a good fighter. With Dark Soaring Cloud, at least Zhao Ritian would not be hunted down like he was today. Brother Ritian, are you mistaken? The bet between the two of us. Dark Ling Xiao glanced at Zhao Ritian and chuckled. The bet? What bet? Aren't we killing enemies together? Since you don't want to be my follower, it's fine. Your cultivation is not bad. You can barely be my friend. Zhao Ritian pretended to be dumb and said proudly. His bet with Dark Soaring Clouds was that whoever killed the most followers would be the big brother. In the end, Zhao Ritian lost. However, as the son of the Celestial Emperor, how could he become someone else's follower? Not to mention someone from the Demon Clan. If he became the follower of the Demon Clan, the Celestial Emperor would probably rush out and kill this unfilial son of his if he knew about it. Pa, that's right, Brother Ritian. We are good friends. What should we do next? Dark Ling Xiao said with a hearty laugh. He didn't mention the bet again. No matter what, Dark Soaring Cloud had decided to follow Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that Dark Soaring Clouds did not harp on the bet. His expression softened a little. There should be quite a number of treasures in the Heavenly Demon Abyss. Why don't we take a look? When the trial in the Heavenly Demon Abyss opens, we can sneak in and pass the trial and rush out of Heavenly Demon Emperor City. Zhao Ritian thought for a while and said to Dark Soaring Cloud. That's what I was thinking. Dark Soaring Cloud nodded and smiled. All in all, following Zhao Ritian would not be a bad thing. Zhao Ritian also felt that with a super fighter like Dark Soaring Cloud, he would be much safer in the future. Both of them felt that they had taken advantage of each other. They looked at each other and smiled. The way they looked at each other became more and more pleasing to the eye. The Heavenly Incense Emperor's body and mind had been conquered by Dark Soaring Cloud. Now, She had placed all her heart on Dark Soaring Cloud. Dark Soaring Cloud asked the Heavenly Incense Emperor to return to Heavenly Demon Emperor City and inform Dark Soaring Cloud about the trial. He also asked Dark Soaring Cloud to monitor the actions of the Heavenly Demon Emperor City's guardian. Dark Soaring Cloud felt that he could not fall behind the main body. If he had the chance, he wanted to kill a guardian for fun. Although the Heavenly Incense Emperor was reluctant to leave, she still obediently left the Heavenly Demon Abyss and returned to Heavenly Demon Emperor City. Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian searched for treasures in the Heavenly Demon Abyss. As the largest forbidden area around Heavenly Demon Emperor City, the Heavenly Demon Abyss was not only vast and boundless, but it also contained all kinds of precious treasures. Dark Lingxiao followed Zhao Ritian and looted quite a number of treasures. In fact, they even managed to obtain 2 types of extreme metals. This had Dark Lingxiao and Zhao Ritian extremely excited. At their level of cultivation, they could already refine their own destiny weapons. This destiny weapon was also the foundation of their future Dao validation. Once they had validated their Dao and become emperors, their destiny weapon would become a true extreme Dao emperor weapon. Although Zhao Ritian had the Flame Emperor Cauldron, Heavenly Dao Emperor Sword, and other extreme Dao emperor weapons, he still planned to refine his own peerless divine weapon. It was even more so for Dark Soaring Cloud. The 2 of them traversed a few million miles of the Heavenly Demon Abyss and killed many powerful ancient mutated beasts. Even a severely injured ancient demonic beast was killed by the 2 of them. Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian got along more and more harmoniously. In the end, they even regretted not having met earlier. The 3-legged golden crow was speechless. Dark Soaring Cloud was from the demon race. Not only did the demon race have a blood feud with the human race, but they were also the culprits behind the Heavenly Emperor's death. Was it right for Zhao Ritian to do this? However, the 3-legged golden crow did not dare to say anything. Ever since it was showing off in front of Dark Soaring Cloud and was almost crushed by Dark Soaring Cloud's punch, it felt instinctive fear whenever it saw Dark Soaring Cloud. The Heaven Demon Emperor City's trial finally began. In the Heaven Demon Abyss, many trial challengers appeared and began to fight with the ancient mutated beasts in the Heaven Demon Abyss. Intense battles were taking place everywhere, making the place look like a chaotic place. Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian began to keep a low profile. After all, after the trial began, the entire Heaven Demon Abyss was under the surveillance of the Heaven Demon Emperor City's city guardian. The Heaven Demon Emperor City's trial was to collect a Heaven Demon Crystal and traverse the Heaven Demon Abyss. The Heaven Demon Crystal was formed by the Heaven Demon's origin power. Most of them were found in the depths of the abyss or in the lair of some powerful ancient mutated beasts. Therefore, it was not so easy to obtain heavenly magic crystals. However, this was not a problem for Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian. After they killed the ancient mutated beast, they found a few Heaven Demon Crystals in its lair. Moreover, Dark Soaring Cloud realized that the Heaven Demon Crystal was very beneficial to his physical body. It could strengthen his physical body. Although it was only a small amount, it was precious enough. Therefore, during this period, although Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian kept a low profile, they spent most of their time searching for the Heaven Demon Crystal. It was inevitable that they would clash with the trial challengers, and a few battles had even broken out. On this day, they saw an extremely strange scene. An extremely ugly young man was chasing after a group of trial challengers. "Don't come over! Get out of my way! Get out of my way! Yi Liangchen, Grandpa Yi, I beg you. I've already given you the Heaven Demon Crystal. What else do you want? Yi Liangchen, you devil! The city guardian will not let you go." The group of trial challengers were crying for their parents. Their faces were swollen and they looked extremely miserable. On the other hand, the extremely ugly young man in a black robe had all sorts of Heaven Demon Crystals hanging around his body. He looked very proud of himself. He stood with his hands behind his back and stepped on the void as he chased after the trial challengers. As he chased after them, he was still shouting, "Don't run. Although you've already given me the Heaven Demon Crystal, I haven't settled the score of you disturbing my cultivation. If you don't take out tens of billions of origin pills to compensate for my loss, don't even think about leaving. This guy is Yi Liangchen. Zhao Ritian was also stunned. He recognized Yi Liangchen. In the realm of the gods, if Zhao Ritian was the son of fortune, then Yi Liangchen was the son of misfortune. He was despised wherever he went. Those who were hostile towards Yi Liangchen were in big trouble. Wherever Yi Liangchen went, the crowd would simply avoid him. Zhao Ritian did not expect Yi Liangchen to appear here. Yi Liangchen? Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes also flashed with light. He also knew about Yi Liangchen from his original body. This Yi Liangchen was a bomb that would hurt others and hurt himself. If he did not use him well, even he would be in trouble. However, this guy seemed to be very powerful. He actually chased after hundreds of trial challengers alone. This made Zhao Ritian's face turn black. Zhao Ritian subconsciously thought of the incident where he was chased after not long ago. Yi Liangchen's current cultivation was at the fifth heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Those who were chased by him were mostly low-level and mid-level Imperial Emperors. How dare you! At this moment, a cold shout exploded in the void. Rumble! A huge palm print came across the sky. It was wrapped in blazing lightning as it pressed down on Yi Liangchen. Yi Liangchen's eyes flashed as a mysterious brilliance bloomed around his body. The runes were dazzling and his body instantly became incomparably illusory. Then he disappeared on the spot. Boom! When the palm print landed, the ground rumbled and instantly shattered into pieces. Yi Liangchen's figure appeared tens of thousands of feet away. Coincidentally, he was near Zhao Ritian and Darkness Ling Zhao. A high-level Imperial Emperor? Yi Liangchen muttered to himself. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. There was no fear at all. A figure descended from the sky. It was a young man with purple hair. He wore purple gold armor and had a heroic figure. His face was incomparably cold and arrogant. Blazing lightning surrounded his body. He was like a thunder god that had descended to the world. His aura was monstrous. "It's Lord Zishao!" Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. "Lord Zishao, please make a decision. This kid snatched our heavenly demon crystals and wants to take our lives. He deserves to die." A trial challenger bowed to the purple-haired young man and said, "You're courting death. How dare you behave atrociously in the heavenly demon abyss? Hand over the heavenly demon crystals and end your own life." Zishao stared at Yi Liangchen in front of him. His eyes were deep as he said coldly, "Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me for the heavenly demon crystals?" Yi Liangchen sneered. He was not afraid at all. Although Zishao's aura was powerful and his cultivation had reached the 8th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm and could control the power of lightning, Yi Liangchen's expression was still very calm. Darkness Ling Zhao and Zhao Ritian were a little confused. Could Yi Liangchen defeat Zishao? Darkness Ling Zhao said in surprise. He could sense that Zishao was a strong opponent. Zishao is not simple. He has an aura that does not belong to this era. He should be an ancient sky pride. Zhao Ritian said slowly. An ancient sky pride? It seems like he has his eyes on Yi Liangchen's heavenly demon crystals. However, these heavenly demon crystals are all mine. Who dares to snatch them? Darkness Ling Zhao sneered. There was a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. He knew that Zishao must have discovered the magical use of the heavenly demon crystals and wanted to snatch them to temper his body. Die! Murderous intent rose in Zishao's eyes as he suddenly shouted. Then he pressed his palm down from the sky. The huge purple palm print covered the sky and locked onto Yi Liangchen. It was like an ancient mountain that wanted to kill him completely. Seeing that Yi Liangchen was only a 5th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, Zishao did not bother to talk to Zhao Ritian. He used his killing move right away. "Bastard, are the two of you still watching the show? Come and help me." Yi Liangchen's expression changed immediately. He used a teleportation secret skill to dodge Zishao's attack and shouted at Darkness Ling Zhao and Yi Liangchen. "What? This guy is so arrogant. After all this, he wants to rely on us?" Darkness Ling Zhao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other. They originally thought that Yi Liangchen had some trump cards. They did not expect him to reveal his true colors the moment Zi Xiao attacked. Yi Liangchen flew towards darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian in a sorry state. Obviously, he had noticed them long ago. Before he could say anything, a sharp light flashed in darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. He rushed into the sky and punched Zi Xiao. Rumble! Darkness Ling Xiao's fist intent was unparalleled. It was ferocious and domineering. The demonic armor was instantly activated by him. Chaotic light soared into the sky and enveloped darkness Ling Xiao and Zi Xiao. A loud explosion was heard. Zi Xiao was sent flying by darkness Ling Xiao. Chapter 32-29. Who are you? Zi Xiao shouted at darkness Ling Xiao as his vital energy and blood surged. His eyes were solemn as he stared at darkness Ling Xiao. He was the master of lightning and was known as the Lightning Emperor. He used endless lightning to temper his body and formed a lightning body. His physical body was extremely strong. However, he did not expect darkness Ling Xiao, who was only a 6th Heaven Emperor realm martial artist, to have a stronger physical body than him. Especially the chaotic turbulence and the mysterious demonic aura, Zi Xiao felt like he was facing a chaos demon god. I am the demon master. Darkness Ling Xiao smiled proudly as his eyes were filled with sharpness. How dare you? How dare you impersonate Lord Bo Sun? Only Lord Bo Sun is worthy of the title of Demon Master. Zi Xiao's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he stared at darkness Ling Xiao. Bo Sun Wushuang? So, you are Bo Sun Wushuang's subordinate? Where is Bo Sun Wushuang? I would like to meet him. Darkness Ling Xiao was stunned as he did not expect to meet Bo Sun Wushuang's subordinate here. Bo Sun Wushuang was known as the peerless expert who had lost to the Heavenly Emperor. He was the supreme genius of the demon race. Bo Sun Wushuang had sealed himself for a lifetime and had broken out of the seal in this lifetime to conquer Eternal Emperor Road and obtain the secret of transcendence. You are not qualified to meet Lord Bo Sun Wushuang. Lord Bo Sun Wushuang has already arrived at the 12 Emperor cities. Who do you think you are to speak so arrogantly? Zi Xiao sneered as his eyes were filled with disdain. So, Bo Sun Wushuang is not here. What a pity. I'm afraid he can't save you. Don't worry, after I kill you, I will come to the 12 Emperor cities and let your Lord Bo Sun Wushuang accompany you. Dark Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were filled with an incomparably cold expression. Boasting shamelessly. Zi Xiao laughed in anger as his eyes were filled with cold, murderous intent. Although he did not know who Darkness Ling Xiao was, he deserved death for impersonating the Demon Master and speaking rudely to Lord Bo Sun Wushuang. Although Darkness Ling Xiao's physical body was very strong, Zi Xiao was not afraid at all. Murderous intent surged around him, and blazing thunderbolts wrapped around his body like divine chains of order. He was an ancient genius from the same era as Bushuan. In the end, he was subdued by Bushuan and became his follower. His battle prowess was heaven-defying, and he could contend with a peerless monarch. Hence, he did not place Darkness Ling Xiao in his eyes at all. Zhao Ritian, why are you with the demons? You are the son of the Celestial Emperor. Aren't you afraid that your father will come back to life and teach you a lesson? Yap Liangchen asked curiously. Although he had discovered Dark Soaring Firmament in Zhao Ritian, he did not recognize Dark Soaring Firmament. Now that Dark Soaring Firmament had made his move, he realized that Dark Soaring Firmament was actually from the devil race. What do you mean I'm with the demons? Don't talk nonsense. This is my new hired thug. This guy's combat strength is extraordinary. It would be a pity to kill him. Let's use him for a while first. If he doesn't listen to me, just kill him. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Anyway, Dark Soaring Firmament was fighting with Purple Firmament. No matter how much he bragged, he was not afraid. Yap Liangchen looked at Zhao Ritian with envy and said, "Where did you find such a powerful hired thug? I think this guy is a peerless genius even among the demons. He shouldn't be a nobody, right?" He called himself the Devil Lord. Now, it seems like he's a fake. Zhao Ritian said thoughtfully. Brother Ritian, if you meet such a powerful hired thug later, can you help me catch one? Yap Liangchen said affectionately. Stay away from me. We'll see if I can catch him or not when the time comes. Zhao Ritian said cautiously as he distanced himself from Yap Liangchen. Yap Liangchen was a jinx. He had the body of misfortune. Even Zhao Ritian was wary of him. He was afraid that his luck would be affected if he stayed with this guy. However, Yap Liangchen was a double-edged sword. If he was used well, he would be a nightmare to his enemies. Brother Ritian, I'll follow you from now on. Yap Liangchen's eyes darted around as he chuckled. He was prepared to hug Zhao Ritian's thigh. Zhao Ritian's cultivation had reached the high-level emperor realm. He was strong and had such a powerful hired thug. Yap Liangchen would not be at a disadvantage if he followed Zhao Ritian. The Eternal Emperor Road was filled with danger. Although Yap Liangchen had the body of misfortune, he had suffered a lot over the years. You troublemaker. If you want to follow me, you have to be obedient, understand? Also, don't spread your misfortune around. Listen to my instructions and mess with whoever I ask you to mess with. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Of course. Brother Ritian will be my big brother from now on. Yap Liangchen patted his chest and said. His eyes darted around and he looked even more wretched. However, he was calculating in his heart. This Zhao Ritian seemed to be very strong. He could be a free hired thug on the Eternal Emperor Road. As for Zhao Ritian's character, he had a good grasp of it. As long as he complimented him, Zhao Ritian would do whatever he wanted. After a few sentences, Yap Liangchen and Zhao Ritian started to get into a heated fight. The three-legged golden crow watched coldly from the side. He felt helpless too. He did not know if it was a blessing or a curse to have such an unreliable master. Rumble. The battle between Darkness Lingxiao and Zishao was extremely intense. Darkness Lingxiao had formed the chaotic bone and had the unparalleled fighting strength of the Chaos Demon tribe. In addition to the power of the demonic armor, he was like a prehistoric demon beast. His fighting strength was extremely strong. Although his cultivation was 2 levels lower than Zizhao's, his aura was stronger and he gained the upper hand in an instant. Unparalleled fist prints continuously hit Zizhao's body, causing Zizhao's body to tremble. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The power of the demonic armor caused Zizhao's body to tremble. When the unparalleled divine power attacked, cracks appeared around Zizhao's body. It was as if he was going to collapse at any time. Damn it. This is the legendary Chaos Demon tribe. Zizhao's eyes were filled with shock. He was also a supreme talent of the demon tribe. He wielded the power of lightning and was known as the Lightning Emperor. He had once defeated many experts and his fighting strength was unparalleled. In his opinion, in the entire demon world, only Demon Lord Bo Sun Wushuang was qualified to be his follower. The others were just chickens and pottery dogs. However, he now realized that the powerful Chaos Demon tribe that once dominated the demon world had a successor. The glove on his hand must be the demonic armor. If Lord Wushuang knows the whereabouts of the demonic armor, he will be very happy. So what if he is from the Chaos Demon tribe? He will still die in front of Lord Wushuang. Zishao stared at the glove on Darkness Lingxiao's hand. His eyes were filled with greed and passion. Lord Bo Sun Wushuang also had a demonic armor. He knew how terrifying the demonic armor was. It was a supreme treasure that was more powerful than an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Lightning rose around Zishao. He had already formed the origin of lightning. Streaks of black demonic lightning not only had the heat of lightning, but they also contained powerful corrosive and devouring power. It was as if they could destroy all life. Zishao knew that Darkness Lingxiao's physical body was strong. He did not dare to fight him head-on. He pulled away and used the demonic lightning to fight him. At the same time, a black halberd appeared in Zizhao's hand. It was surrounded by blazing lightning. It was ferocious and domineering, and it was filled with powerful energy fluctuations. Purple Heaven Lightning Halberd. This was Zizhao's extreme Dao Emperor weapon. When combined with Zishao, it could unleash the power of an unparalleled Imperial Emperor. Although the Emperor's Dao was suppressed on Emperor's Road of Eternity, and the power of an extreme Dao Emperor weapon was greatly reduced, it was still much more powerful than an ordinary weapon. Zishao was surrounded by blazing lightning. His purple hair fluttered in the wind, and his armor clanged. The halberd in his hand slashed down from the sky. It contained a powerful force as it went straight for Darkness Lingxiao's head. Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were sharp as he threw a punch. The demonic armor gave off a bright bloody light as if it was soaked in blood. It was eerie and evil. Clang! Divine light spewed out and the void shook. The halberd in Zishao's hand buzzed and vibrated. It was blocked by the demonic armor. A surge of divine power came through and numbed Zishao's arm. The halberd almost flew out of his hand. Boom! 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 Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were like steel. His fist was like a dragon as the demonic aura around him filled the sky. He charged forward and threw punch after punch at Zishao. The unparalleled fist prints seemed to be able to destroy everything. They were like immemorial divine mountains as they continuously bombarded the halberd. Zishao could only passively face his opponent. The lightning on the halberd was shattered and the runes were destroyed. Crack! Darkness Lingxiao's last punch pierced through the void and landed on the halberd. At the same time, it landed on Zishao's chest. A clear sound rang out. Zishao spat out a mouthful of blood, and his entire body was directly sent flying. What? The trial takers were stunned. They knew Zishao's power better than anyone else. Among the many sky prides and demonic geniuses in Heaven Demon Emperor City, Zishao was definitely one of the top. There were less than 5 people who could be compared to Zishao. But now, Zishao was being suppressed by Darkness Lingxiao and was injured so quickly. Who is this guy who calls himself the Demon Master? Everyone's hearts were filled with doubt. At the same time, their gazes towards Darkness Lingxiao were filled with reverence. Darkness Lingxiao was violent. After refining the fruit of the way, his chaotic demon tribe bloodlines seemed to have been developed to the extreme. His entire body merged with the chaos and he could mobilize the supreme power of the chaos at any time. Needless to say, the demonic armor in Darkness Lingxiao's hands was even more imposing. It was like an ancient demon treasure that made people feel intimidated. Even the purple heaven lightning halberd, an ultimate emperor weapon, was suppressed by the demonic armor. Brother Ritian, are you sure this is the fighter you recruited? This guy's combat strength is not weaker than a peerless imperial emperor, right? Yi Liangchen opened his eyes wide and his face was filled with disbelief. Darkness Lingxiao's violent combat strength was extremely heaven-defying. In his opinion, there was only one person in the divine world who could be compared to him. Lingxiao. I wonder who would win if Darkness Lingxiao and the Demon Master were to fight? Yi Liangchen thought to himself. Cough cough. Of course, it's the fighter I subdued. My current methods aren't something you can fathom. Follow me obediently and you will live a good life in the future. No one will dare to provoke you. Zhao Ritian coughed lightly and said proudly. Although he was shocked by Darkness Lingxiao's terrifying combat strength, he was still shocked by it. Master, you saved a peerless demon from Celestial Demon Mountain. The three-legged golden crow mumbled to himself. His eyes were filled with seriousness. Damn it. This guy is from the chaotic demon tribe and he has the demonic armor, a heaven-defying treasure. I'm afraid I'm not his match. Only Master Wushuang can suppress him. Zishao felt extremely wronged. Although he did not want to admit it, he had to admit that he was not as good as Darkness Lingxiao. At the same time, he had the intention to retreat. Zhao Ritian, who had yet to make a move, gave Zishao a feeling that he was not to be trifled with. If he continued to stay, he might really die here. Boom! Black demonic light surged around Zishao's body. His aura began to skyrocket. A desolate aura spread out, making Zishao feel extremely dangerous. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. The heavenly halberd in his hand shone with boundless light. Accompanied by thunderbolts that were like divine chains of order, he slashed at Darkness Lingxiao across the sky. Demon descends to the world. Zishao roared. An ancient and mysterious world seemed to appear behind him and supported the heavenly halberd. This attack was like the arrival of a chaotic demon god. All the Daos in the world were suppressed at the same time. It was going to completely annihilate Darkness Lingxiao. Are you going all out? Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp as he sneered in his heart. This attack was extremely powerful. It was clearly a powerful forbidden skill that Zi Xiao had used by burning his life source. Numerous thick bolts of devil lightning descended, sealing the darkness within like a prison. The ancient halberd seemed capable of cleaving apart the heavens and earth, breaking apart the primordial chaos. Its speed was to the extreme. Kill! Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with a trace of madness. The chaotic light around him suddenly exploded and swept out in all directions like a storm. The demonic armor became as red as blood. In an instant, it was like a blood-red pillar that soared into the sky. It was blazing to the extreme. Darkness Ling Xiao's robe and black hair fluttered. His entire body shone with boundless chaotic light and collided with the vast momentum of the world above his head. Rumble! An incomparably terrifying explosion rang out, shaking the heavens in all directions. Powerful airwaves swept out in all directions. The trial takers who were watching the battle could not help but tremble as they were sent flying. The vast demonic world was directly shattered by Darkness Ling Xiao's punch. Even Zi Xiao and the heavenly halberd were shattered at the same time. What? Lord Zi Xiao died just like that? Everyone trembled and their eyes were filled with disbelief. A cicada shedding its carapace? A cold light flashed in Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. Although Zi Xiao and the heavenly halberd were shattered, he did not feel any aura of the death of the real spirit. Whoosh! At the same time, an extremely wretched figure appeared tens of thousands of feet away. It was Zi Xiao. The purple-gold armor on Zi Xiao's body was tattered and the heavenly halberd in his hand was trembling non-stop. His face was pale and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were filled with fear. Brat, you dare to impersonate Lord Demon Lord. Lord Demon Lord will not let you go. Zi Xiao glared at He Ling Xiao with great resentment. He immediately turned into a blood-red streak of light and teleported into the distance. He had actually escaped. Chapter 3230. Previously, Zi Xiao had used the forbidden technique, Demon Descends to the World. He did not want to fight Darkness Ling Xiao to the death. Instead, he wanted to create an illusion and escape. Although he was arrogant and conceited, he was not stupid. Seeing that he could not kill Darkness Ling Xiao and was in danger of dying, he decisively chose to escape. Once the Demon Descends to the World was used, he used Blood Escape and left the battlefield in an instant. This man is from the Chaotic Demon Clan and he has the demon armor. He will definitely be a strong opponent of Lord Wushuang in the future. I must inform Lord Wushuang as soon as possible and kill him. Zi Xiao thought to himself. Zi Xiao, I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to leave just like that. Suddenly, an extremely ear-piercing voice was heard. Zi Xiao's body stiffened. He suddenly realized that Yi Liangchen had appeared in front of him and blocked his way. Yi Liangchen had a faint smile on his face and he looked a little wretched. He was not afraid of Zi Xiao who was charging towards him. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed in Zi Xiao's eyes. Yi Liangchen was only a level 5 Imperial Emperor. His aura was much weaker than Darkness Ling Xiao. How dare an ant-like thing block Lord Zi Xiao's way? He's simply courting death. Boom! Demonic aura surged around Zi Xiao. He did not slow down at all. Instead, he sped up. The halberd in his hand was surrounded by blazing lightning as he slashed towards Yi Liangchen. Swoosh! Yi Liangchen was very slippery and his speed was extremely fast. He had actually cultivated the secret skill of teleportation. At the same time, he had comprehended the power of space. A light flashed around his body and he disappeared, leaving only an afterimage. Boom! The halberd lost its target and directly smashed a huge mountain below into pieces. Zi Xiao, I'm warning you. If you continue to attack me, something bad will happen. Yi Liangchen appeared tens of thousands of feet away and smiled at Zi Xiao. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed in Zi Xiao's eyes. He continued to move forward with the halberd in his hand and continuously slashed at Yi Liangchen. However, Yi Liangchen had extreme speed and was very cunning. He would usually dodge before Zi Xiao attacked. At that moment, Zi Xiao, who was severely injured, could not lock onto Yi Liangchen at all. This made him increasingly frustrated. He didn't know why dark soaring clouds didn't chase after him, but he felt uneasy. We have to leave this place, Zi Xiao thought to himself. However, no matter where he moved, Yi Liangchen would always appear in front of him and tease him. Zi Xiao, I'll warn you one last time. If you continue to attack me, I'm afraid you'll die a tragic death. Yap Liangchen smiled proudly. I'm warning you, my ass. Zi Xiao cursed and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He was so angry that he activated the sky piercer to the extreme. Bolts of lightning were like divine chains of order, entangling Yi Liangchen. At the same time, the halberd seemed to have split open the sky and turned into a rainbow that was extremely bright. Zi Xiao, you're finished. No one will be able to save you if you dare to attack me. Yi Liangchen let out a strange cry and moved away again. Rumble. There was a huge mountain below. It was extremely majestic, ancient, and mysterious. After Yi Liangchen moved away, the sky piercer slashed down from the sky and hit the huge mountain directly. The mountain rocks shattered and the mountain shook. However, the mountain didn't shatter as expected. Instead, it couldn't go any further after being split open for 1,000 feet. A loud roar was heard and it shook the sky. The mountain collapsed with a loud bang, and black tentacles rushed out of the mountain and swept toward Zi Xiao. Terrifying demonic aura surged and the ominous aura filled the sky. Everyone couldn't help but tremble and their faces turned pale. Oh no! Zi Xiao's face changed and he wanted to rush out. However, the black tentacles that blotted out the sky and covered the earth were as fast as lightning. Their speed was extremely fast and they instantly wrapped around Zi Xiao. A prehistoric demonic beast rushed out from the huge mountain. It was 10,000 feet tall and its body was pitch black. It was covered with all kinds of tentacles and its eyes were like blood moons. They were cold and cruel. As for the halberd, it landed on the head of the prehistoric demonic beast and left behind a huge bloody scar. The prehistoric demonic beast was originally sleeping in the mountain. However, it didn't expect to be attacked by Zi Xiao. It was awakened by Zi Xiao's attack on its head. The prehistoric demonic beast was completely enraged. Its eyes were filled with killing intent and it stared at Zi Xiao. Many tentacles were crazily whipping toward Zi Xiao. Boom! Zi Xiao roared again and again. The sky piercer in his hand was extremely sharp and it kept cutting off the tentacles. However, new tentacles grew out and covered Zi Xiao. Black flames rose around the prehistoric demonic beast and it spat out black light beams that contained extremely strong corrosiveness. They formed a black light ball in the void and trapped Zi Xiao in it like a barrier. Get out of my way! Zi Xiao roared and the demonic aura around him surged. He wanted to rush out. However, the prehistoric demonic beast was extremely powerful. It had the combat strength of a peerless imperial emperor. Now that it was enraged by Zi Xiao, how could it let it go? It wanted to tear Zi Xiao into pieces. How tragic! I told you that you would meet with misfortune. Why didn't you listen? Yi Liangchen sighed softly. His eyes were filled with sympathy. Yi Liangchen, tell me honestly, did you discover this prehistoric demonic beast long ago? Zhao Ritian flew over and looked at Yi Liangchen suspiciously. I really didn't know that there was a prehistoric demonic beast here. However, don't you think that he would meet with misfortune sooner or later if he chased after me? Yi Liangchen said with a proud smile. Zhao Ritian thought about it and agreed. When the prehistoric demonic beast was sleeping, it hid all of its aura and hid in the mountain range. Even Darkness Ling Xiao and Zi Xiao couldn't discover its existence. Yi Liangchen probably couldn't find it either. However, Yi Liangchen had the body of misfortune. Anyone who wanted to deal with him would meet with misfortune and meet with misfortune. Zi Xiao was also miserable. He was entangled by a prehistoric demonic beast. Zi Xiao, where do you think you're going now? Darkness Ling Xiao said indifferently. He also appeared in front of Zi Xiao. The demonic armor on his arm emitted a strange bloody light. Zi Xiao's face turned pale immediately. His eyes were filled with despair. The prehistoric demonic beast was extremely powerful. It was already extremely difficult to deal with. Now that he was severely injured and Darkness Ling Xiao was eyeing him covetously, where could he escape to? Those trial takers had long been scared out of their wits and scattered in all directions. Even Zi Xiao wasn't a match for Darkness Ling Xiao. They would definitely die if they stayed here. Brat, I'll wait for you. Master Wushuang won't let you go. Zi Xiao let out a desperate roar. Soon, he was drowned by the endless tentacles of the prehistoric demonic beast. The prehistoric demonic beast seemed to have a problem with its brain. Even when Darkness Ling Xiao appeared, it was still determined to kill Zi Xiao. In the end, Zi Xiao self-destructed in despair. Rumble. The self-destruction of an ancient supreme talent was so terrifying that even a peerless emperor would find it difficult to withstand it. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed as it stirred up the surrounding void. The blazing divine light swept out and turned the mountains and lakes within a radius of tens of thousands of miles into dust. Darkness Ling Xiao was already on guard against Zi Xiao. Hence, he easily dodged the attack. However, the prehistoric demonic beast wasn't so lucky. It was severely injured by the explosion. In the end, the prehistoric demonic beast died in the hands of Darkness Ling Xiao. What a great harvest! We're rich now. I didn't expect the prehistoric demonic beast to have so many heavenly demonic crystals in its body. Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshen's eyes were filled with excitement. After the prehistoric demonic beast was killed by Darkness Ling Xiao, they found dozens of heavenly demonic crystals in its body and its nest. They knew that the heavenly demonic crystals were good stuff. Naturally, they wouldn't miss it. It's a pity that Zi Xiao chose to self-destruct. Even the purple heaven thunder halberd was destroyed. He must have many heavenly demonic crystals in his hands. Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of pity. When Zi Xiao self-destructed, the purple heaven thunder halberd also shattered into a few pieces. The heavenly demonic crystals in Zi Xiao's body were also shattered into pieces. The heavenly demonic crystals were formed by the pure demonic qi and evil qi in the heavenly demonic abyss. They contain the demonic Tao's origin. Although the terrifying evil qi had a great impact on the primordial spirit, it was a supreme treasure for tempering one's physical body. With so many heavenly demonic crystals in one go, Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's physical body could be strengthened. It's not a pity. I know where there are many heavenly demonic crystals. I'm just afraid that you won't dare to go. Yap Liangshen rolled his eyes and chuckled. Many heavenly demonic crystals? How many are there? Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. At least 10,000 heavenly demonic crystals. Yi Liangshen raised a finger and said slowly. What? Zhao Ritian exclaimed. Even his breathing had become a little hurried. Where is it? Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were burning with passion. The guardian of the heavenly demonic emperor city is called embark. He found a heavenly demonic or vein in the heavenly demonic abyss. It produces heavenly demonic crystals. However, there are many guardians guarding the place. At the same time, there are also Embark's clone imprints. If we force our way in, Embark will soon find out. Let's see if you have the guts to go against the guardian. Yi Liangshen chuckled. Guardian Embark? What's there to be afraid of? Ling Xiao has already killed 2 guardian envoys. If he dares to stop us, we'll kill another guardian envoys for fun. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Darkness Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. A heavenly demonic crystal or vein? How many heavenly demonic crystals could there be? It might be more than the 10,000 heavenly demonic crystals that Yi Liangshen mentioned. How did you know about such top-secret information? Darkness Ling Xiao looked at Yi Liangshen and asked. The heavenly demonic crystals were not only useful to the trial takers, but they were also extremely precious treasures to the prehistoric demonic beasts. If there was a heavenly demonic crystal or vein, the prehistoric demonic beasts would have already snatched it. Embark is not a good person. The heavenly demonic crystal or vein is extremely difficult to mine. He has secretly captured many trial takers to mine the heavenly demonic crystals for him. I was almost captured by him. After that, I followed them and found that top-secret place. Yi Liangshen explained. If that's the case, what are we waiting for? Let's snatch it. This guardian Mo Peng is not a good person. Let's do justice for the heavens. Zhao Ritian said excitedly. Alright. If we were in the heavenly demonic emperor city, we would not be a match for the guardian. However, we are in the heavenly demonic abyss. So what? If he dares to stop us, we will just kill him. Darkness Ling Xiao nodded and said. His eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. After the three of them came to an agreement, they cleaned up the battlefield and each of them took a dozen heavenly demonic crystals. Then, under Yi Liangshen's lead, they headed towards the heavenly demonic or vein. Just as Yi Liangshen said, the location of the heavenly demonic or vein was extremely well hidden. No wonder the prehistoric demonic beasts could not find it. In the depths of the heavenly demonic abyss, there was a huge lake. The lake water was extremely pure and it contained the aura of light. It was as if Yin gave birth to Yang. The surrounding demonic aura was monstrous. However, the lake was radiant and holy. This holy aura was what the prehistoric demonic beasts that lived in the heavenly demonic abyss hated the most. The lake was the lake of brilliance. The heavenly demonic or vein was right below the lake of brilliance. In the lake of brilliance, there is a huge underground or vein that is covered by a barrier. There are also countless guards patrolling the area. If we act rashly and alert the enemy, I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to enter the heavenly demonic or vein. Yi Liangshen explained. Then how are we going to enter? Are we going to barge in? Zhao Ritian asked. Hehe, how can this be a problem for Liangshen? I killed a guard earlier and snatched the pass from him. Later, I will disguise myself as that guard. The two of you will be my captives and sent to the heavenly demonic or vein to mine. Let's sneak in directly. Yi Liangshen smiled proudly. A light flashed in his hand and a silver pass appeared. If that's the case, what are we waiting for? Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up and he quickly said. After we sneak into the heavenly demonic or vein, we will dig up as many heavenly demonic crystals as we can. After we are discovered by the guards, it will be up to you how to deal with the guards and the demonic rock guardian. After Yi Liangshen instructed, he took out a set of black armor and wore it neatly. Then, a light flashed around his body and he turned into a cold guard with a sinister face and murderous aura around him. 2 black chains appeared in his hands. The runes on them were bright and they contained a powerful sealing power. The chains flew across the sky and tied up Zhao Ritian and Darkness Ling Xiao. However, although the sealing power of the black chains was strong, it was nothing to Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. They could break free at any time. Just like that, Yi Liangshen held Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. His body was filled with murderous aura and his face was incomparably cold. He swaggered into the lake of brilliance. Chapter 32-31. The lake of light was flowing with bright light. It was holy and mysterious. It was completely different from the surging demonic aura around it. It was as if it was divided into 2 different worlds. However, when Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangshen entered the Lake of Light, they realized that there was another world within it. In the Lake of Light, the light was resplendent and the multicolored light was dense. It seemed to contain an incomparably mysterious world. The Lake of Light was unfathomable. The 3 of them sneaked into the depths. Not long after, they saw a huge crystal palace. It was crystal clear and flawless. The crystal palace was built on a mountain. Behind it was a huge mountain range. It rose and fell like a huge beast hibernating at the bottom of the water. The crystal palace and the mountain range were enveloped by a huge and transparent barrier. At the entrance of the crystal palace, there was a group of cold-looking guards in armor. Their eyes were like lightning as they vigilantly observed their surroundings. They were all guards of the celestial demon imperial city. They were ordered by the guardian to guard this place and protect the secret of the celestial demon or vein. That mountain range is the celestial demon or vein. However, it is covered by a formation. That door is the only entrance. After we sneak in, we will act according to the situation. Yi Liangshen transmitted his voice to Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were also sizing up the crystal palace in front of them. They nodded slightly when they heard that. Stop right there. The three of them were stopped at the entrance of the Crystal Palace. A cold and arrogant young man in black armor with a red cloak behind him swept his gaze across the three of them. Finally, his gaze landed on Yi Liangchen. His cultivation was extraordinary. He had already reached the high-level Imperial Emperor realm. It was obvious that he was the commander of the guards. Who are you? You look a little unfamiliar. Do you have a pass? The cold and arrogant young man stared at Yi Liangchen and said, Subordinate Zhang Jun greets my lord. This is my pass. Under the orders of the Guardian, I am escorting 2 trial takers here to mine. Yi Liangchen did not panic. He cupped his hands and bowed to the arrogant young man. Then, a bright light appeared in his palm, and a pass appeared. The arrogant young man took the medallion and activated a trace of origin energy. The medallion immediately emitted a bright light and floated above Yi Liangchen's head. It emitted a mysterious aura. Yi Liangchen looked calm. The aura on his body was exactly the same as the aura on the token. That would prove that Yi Liangchen was the real owner of the token and not a fake one. The arrogant young man's expression relaxed as he said indifferently, Go in. After he finished saying those words, the surrounding guards activated the spirit formation and opened the spirit formation gate. They were planning to let Yi Liangchen, Darkness Lingxiao and Zhao Ritian in. Darkness Lingxiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other and understood what had happened. Yi Liangchen was indeed reliable. He had managed to deceive the guards. However, just as they were about to step into the barrier, the arrogant young man's expression suddenly changed. His eyes flashed with killing intent. Not good, they are not guards. Close the barrier and stop them. Rumble! The black saber in the arrogant young man's hand was incomparably sharp. In an instant, it turned into a bright saber ray and swept toward Yi Liangchen and the others. Yi Liangchen was also stunned. He did not expect that his identity would be exposed. He did not know what had gone wrong. Boom! Killing intent flashed through Darkness Lingxiao's eyes. He shot out a punch and sent the 2 guards who were trying to close the spirit formation gate flying back while coughing up blood. Let's go in first, Darkness Lingxiao shouted. He did not even bother to take a glance at the arrogant young man behind him. His demonic armor emitted a bright light. His demonic might was unparalleled as he smashed his attack behind him. Gotcha! The bright saber ray shattered. The saber in the arrogant young man's hand was actually broken in half by Darkness Lingxiao's punch. His blood was surging violently. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. He coughed up blood as he retreated. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Right at this moment, Darkness Lingxiao brought Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen and charged into the spirit formation gate. Rumble! The spirit formation gate closed once again. However, Darkness Lingxiao and the other 2 had already snuck in. Outside the gate, the arrogant young man and the many guards had ugly expressions on their faces. Their killing intent was boiling. Their eyes were filled with both shock and anger. They knew that something big had happened. Quickly inform the Guardian. The rest of you, follow me to kill these 3 thieves. The arrogant young man shouted. His eyes were filled with incomparable cold killing intent. He led a group of guards and charged into the spirit formation gate. The rest of them quickly went to inform the Guardian. This was the place that the Guardian valued the most. It contained the heavenly demon or vein. It could be said that it was the Guardian's lifeblood. Now that someone had charged in, if the Guardian were to know about it, he would be furious. Within the spirit formation gate, there were many guards in the Crystal Palace. The battle at the gate had also awakened the guards in the Crystal Palace. Bush, bush, bush. Figures with powerful auras rushed out of the Crystal Palace. Their eyes were incomparably cold and their bodies were filled with killing intent. How dare you? How dare you behave so atrociously here? Kill them. Don't let them get close to the heavenly demon or vein. Many guards shouted sternly. Every one of them executed powerful divine abilities and secret techniques as they charged towards Darkness Lingxiao and the other 2. Get lost. Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were incomparably cold. His body was filled with ice-cold killing intent. He took a step forward and the void shook. Unparalleled demonic aura spread out. It was as if a peerless demon had descended into the world. The ferocious aura caused the faces of the guards to change. Rumble. The demonic armor was as red as blood. A terrifying aura erupted. An unparalleled fist print instantly traversed the sky and pressed down on the guards. The fist was extremely ferocious and domineering. It actually wanted to suppress all the guards at the same time. "You're courting death," someone shouted coldly. Darkness Lingxiao's cultivation was only at the 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. In the eyes of the guards, he was simply courting death. But soon, they felt fear that came from the depths of their souls. That unparalleled fist print contained a monstrous aura. It was as if it had formed a vast world and enveloped them within it. The ferocious and domineering fist intent exploded and instantly blasted on their bodies. Puff! Many of the guards' bodies shook violently. They suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and were directly sent flying. Naturally, this included the arrogant young man. Many of the guards' eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Their bodies trembled and they were both shocked and furious. They could not believe that Darkness Lingxiao was so terrifying. "A bunch of trash." Darkness Lingxiao sneered coldly. He swaggered into the heavenly demon or vein with Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen. The guards behind them were extremely upset. However, none of them dared to chase after them. "What should we do? Are we going to let him snatch the heavenly demon crystal? If the guardian arrives, I'm afraid we'll all be punished," a guard commander said with an ugly expression. "The three of them are extremely powerful. We're no match for them. We'll only be courting death if we forcefully attack them. Immediately activate the array and trap them. We'll wait for the guardian to arrive," the arrogant young man said coldly. Although he was extremely depressed and aggrieved, he had to admit that Darkness Lingxiao's strength was beyond their imagination. This was a powerful trial taker who possessed the combat strength of a peerless imperial emperor. That's right. This array was personally set up by the guardian. Even a peerless imperial emperor would not be able to break it. Although they're powerful, how can they be a match for the guardian? Trap them until they die. When the guardian arrives, they'll all die. Many of the guards nodded and said. Including the arrogant young man, there were a total of 3 guardian commanders in the spirit array. They controlled the power of the spirit array. Although they could not use the power of the spirit array to kill the enemy, they could trap the enemy inside the spirit array if they activated the spirit array. Following the arrogant young man's suggestion, the 3 guard commanders immediately took action. A formation flag appeared in each of their hands. As the formation flag waved, the void shook and the runes shone brightly. The array released an ancient and desolate aura and instantly became several times stronger. The trial takers who were mining in the heavenly demon mineral vein could not help but raise their heads. Their eyes were filled with shock and uncertainty. Although their cultivation was sealed and they were trapped here to mine, they were constantly thinking about escaping. At this moment, Darkness Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangchen had already entered the heavenly demon mineral vein. The heavenly demon crystals in the heavenly demon mineral vein have spirituality. They're hidden in the mineral vein. Those trial takers could only use the power of the indestructible primordial spirit to capture them. Otherwise, the demonic rock would not have captured so many guardians. What should we do next? I'm afraid the demonic rock will be here soon. Yi Liangchen looked at Darkness Lingxiao and asked. In such a short time, the 3 of them were already very lucky to be able to dig out a few heavenly demon crystals. It was impossible for them to obtain a large number of heavenly demon crystals. Previously, they planned to deceive the guards and secretly mine. However, they were afraid that they would not be able to do so now. The demonic rock? It's great that he's here. Since the heavenly demon mineral vein is his, he must have a lot of heavenly demon crystals on him, right? Darkness Lingxiao sneered. What are you trying to do? Yi Liangchen felt that something was wrong and asked Darkness Lingxiao. Don't tell me you're going to learn from the demonic rock and kill a guardian? Zhao Ritian was also shocked by Darkness Lingxiao's idea. Can't I? If the demonic rock leaves the heavenly demon imperial city and loses the support of the heavenly Tao, He's just an ordinary peerless emperor. With the strength of the three of us, how can we not kill a guardian? Darkness Ling Xiao said with a proud smile. His eyes were full of eagerness. Let's not be so impulsive. Although the heavenly demon crystals here have spirituality and are difficult to capture, it's not impossible. Why don't we go straight to the core of the heavenly demon mineral vein and look for the heavenly demon crystal core? Zhao Ritian shook his head and said, the heavenly demon crystal core that he was talking about was the energy source of the heavenly demon crystal. The heavenly demon crystal was formed because of the energy released by the heavenly demon crystal core. Of course, the heavenly demon crystal core was harder to find than the heavenly demon crystal. Otherwise, it would have fallen into the hands of the demonic rock. The heavenly demon crystal core? Darkness Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He then looked at Zhao Ritian and nodded his head involuntarily. Others might not be able to find the heavenly demon crystal core, but Zhao Ritian was the son of fortune. Perhaps he could find it? Sure. If the demonic rock dares to come, we'll kill him. Let's go look for the heavenly demon crystal core first. Darkness Ling Xiao said. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The three of them instantly turned into 3 divine rainbows and entered the heavenly demon mineral vein. In the heavenly demon mineral vein, it was a different world. The mine tunnels extended in all directions and led deep into the ground. They intertwined with each other and were densely packed. It was very strange. In the mine, there were trial takers whose cultivations were sealed. They were exhausting their indestructible primordial spirits to find the location of the heavenly demon crystal. These trial takers were all captured by the demonic rock guardian. They had to dig out a heavenly demonic crystal every day in order to be safe and sound. Otherwise, they would easily be kicked and punched, or even have their souls refined. They would suffer endless pain. They seemed to be a little numb. They slowly moved forward in the mine, constantly searching for traces of the heavenly demon crystal. Even when Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshan entered the mine, no one paid any attention to them. They immediately chose a tunnel and headed into the depths of the tunnel. The mine tunnel was deep and the walls on both sides were extremely hard. They were filled with heavenly demon qi. Even an imperial emperor expert would find it difficult to destroy them. Darkness Ling Xiao was in the mine tunnel. His body was filled with chaotic mist. He was constantly absorbing the heavenly demon qi around him. He could feel his physical body growing stronger. However, the heavenly demon qi around him was still lacking compared to the energy in the heavenly demon crystal. Darkness Ling Xiao estimated that if he had thousands or tens of thousands of heavenly demon crystals to temper his body, he would be able to kill a peerless imperial emperor with a punch even without the demonic armor. However, the heavenly demon crystal was hidden in the mine. It was difficult to find it with the naked eye and divine consciousness. Only the indestructible primordial spirits could detect the whereabouts of the heavenly demon crystal when they entered the mine tunnel. However, this kind of detection was a huge burden for the indestructible primordial spirits. It would consume a lot of origin energy. They had already gone hundreds of thousands of feet into the mine tunnel, but they still did not find any traces of the heavenly demon crystal. It was as if Zhao Ritian's good luck had run out here. In front of them was a cold stone wall. They had already reached the end of the mine tunnel. Could it be that we are going to mine here? Yi Liangshan said with a strange expression. Don't speak. I can already feel the aura of the heavenly demon crystal. Zhao Ritian's eyes suddenly lit up and he stopped Yi Liangshan. You can feel the aura of the heavenly demon crystal? Who are you trying to fool? Yi Liangshan's eyes were filled with suspicion. Darkness Ling Xiao was also skeptical. Zhao Ritian did not even use his indestructible primordial spirit. How could he discover the heavenly demon crystal? Not to mention, they were already at the end of the mine tunnel. There was only a deep stone wall in front of them. Go! Zhao Ritian ignored the two of them. With a flash of light in his hand, the heavenly Tao Emperor sword rose into the air and slashed at the stone wall at the side. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The sword qi was chilling. It was like cutting through tofu. The heavenly Tao Emperor sword quickly broke through the cold stone wall and drilled into the depths. Zhao Ritian, Darkness Ling Xiao, and Yi Liangshan followed closely behind. Rumble! The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword had opened up a mine tunnel. After a few hundred feet, it was as if it had slashed on a hard divine metal. Sparks flew in all directions and layers of rock were peeling off. Zhao Ritian activated all the origin energy in his body. The blood qi in his body rose. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword shone brightly and there were traces of Emperor's aura spreading out. The sword light was extremely sharp and it instantly shattered the hard rock in front of them. It was as if a tunnel to a new world had been opened. The scene in front of them suddenly opened up. Resplendent light permeated the air and a huge underground cave appeared. Above the cave, heavenly demon crystals were emitting a deep glow. They were intertwined with pure demonic aura and hung on the stone wall. Upon closer inspection, there were hundreds of heavenly demon crystals. This works too. Darkness Ling Xiao and Yi Liangshan looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Yi Liangshan had really found the heavenly demon crystals. Moreover, there were hundreds of them. Chapter 32-32. In the sky above the heavenly demon abyss. The chaotic mist lingered and the divine light was dazzling. A middle-aged man in a black robe was sitting cross-legged. He was burly and his eyes were like lightning. It was as if they could reflect the void and observe every movement in the heavenly demon abyss. He was the guardian of the heavenly demon emperor city, Mo. Heavenly demonic crystals floated around the demonic rock. At a rough glance, there were more than 1,000 of them. Wisps of heavenly demonic qi escaped from the crystals and poured into his body, making his body stronger and stronger like an immortal rock. His qi and blood rose. Wisps of mysterious qi were emitted from his physical body, causing the surrounding void to distort. He was extremely powerful. After absorbing the thousands of heavenly demon crystals, Mo showed a satisfied smile on his face. With another 3,000 heavenly demon crystals, my calamity heavenly demon body should be complete. When that happens, all the guardians, all the geniuses, all of them will die. Mo whispered to himself. His eyes were extremely sharp. Unfortunately, the production in the heavenly demon mineral vein is still too slow. However, this trial might be able to bring me enough heavenly demon crystals. Mo thought to himself. At that moment, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Someone had invaded the heavenly demon mineral vein. He was immersed in cultivation before, so he did not notice it. Now that he had woken up, he immediately felt the summons of the 3 guardian commanders in the heavenly demon mineral vein. He also knew what had happened in the heavenly demon mineral vein. 3 trial takers had disguised themselves as guardians and had infiltrated the heavenly demon mineral vein. You reckless fool! How dare you covet my heavenly demon crystals? I'd like to see who has the guts to do so. Mo Peng's eyes were filled with killing intent. Demonic qi was boiling around him. It was as if ghosts were wailing and wolves were howling. Boom! He took a step forward and traveled hundreds of millions of miles in an instant. His speed was extremely fast as he headed toward the heavenly demon mineral vein. Soon he arrived at the Lake of Brilliance. The guardians in the heavenly demon mineral vein, as well as the 3 commanders, were waiting outside the formation. They had reinforced the formation with the power of the formation flags, completely sealing the formation. Greetings, Guardian Commander. When they saw Mo Peng, all the guardians and commanders immediately knelt down to greet him. Get up! Mo Peng's eyes were cold and indifferent. He swept his gaze over the crowd, causing them to tremble. The horror on their faces became even denser. However, the demonic rock was not in the mood to pursue their sins at this moment. His eyes seemed to penetrate the formation barrier and saw the depths of the heavenly devil mineral vein. Where Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangshan were. Guardian, among the 3 of them, one of them has been found out. He is Zhao Ritian, the one who is being chased by many challengers in the imperial city. As for the other 2, their identities have yet to be ascertained. The arrogant young man mustered up his courage and said to the demonic rock, An inexplicable fluctuation appeared in the demonic rock's eyes. Rumor has it that Zhao Ritian is the son of the heavenly emperor. His strength is unparalleled. However, there is a young man beside him who is skilled in fist techniques. His cultivation is at the sixth heaven of the imperial emperor realm, but he suppressed all of us with a single punch. His combat strength is comparable to a peerless imperial emperor. The arrogant young man nodded. The son of the heavenly emperor? The heavenly emperor has fallen. So what if he's the son of the heavenly emperor? But could the young man with the son of the heavenly emperor be Ling Xiao? Mo Peng said expressionlessly. No one knew what he was thinking. Ling Xiao. The expressions of the arrogant young man and all the guards changed as they sucked in a breath of cold air. Ling Xiao's name could be said to have reverberated like thunder on Eternal Emperor Road. He had killed 2 guardians of the imperial cities. Legend had it that he had the combat strength of a peerless emperor. His strength was heaven-defying and terrifying. He was regarded as a peerless figure who was comparable to the ancient sky prides. Some people even thought that Ling Xiao might be able to reach the end of the Eternal Emperor Road and obtain the secret of transcendence. Ling Xiao is good at fist techniques. His physical body is unparalleled. He uses brute force to suppress others. His cultivation is at the 5th or 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. His combat strength is comparable to a peerless emperor, the arrogant young man said slowly. His eyes were filled with horror. After he told them about Ling Xiao, he felt that the young man beside Zhao Ritian was too similar to Ling Xiao. Could it really be Ling Xiao? But he doesn't look like Ling Xiao. Moreover, his body is filled with demonic qi. He looks like a member of the Devil Clan. One of the guard commanders said hesitantly. They don't look alike? If it's really Ling Xiao, he would have become the public enemy of all the imperial cities. I'm afraid he would have chosen to change his appearance and hide his aura. Mo Peng said faintly. Then what should we do? The arrogant young man said with an ugly expression. At the mention of Ling Xiao's name, all the guardians began to feel nervous. Their faces turned ugly and were filled with fear. Their fighting spirit had dissipated. Moreover, the arrogant young man knew that Mo Peng might be afraid. He knew the guardian's character very well. He had always been as timid as a mouse and only liked to bully the weak. Why would he fight Ling Xiao head-on? It doesn't matter. The formation barrier here was set up by me on the basis of a primitive emperor formation. Even Ling Xiao won't be able to break it. Moreover, so what if it's Ling Xiao? If he dares to enter the imperial city, I can suppress him with a flip of my hand. Mo Peng smiled proudly. The 3 guardian commanders looked at each other, but in their hearts, they knew that Mo Peng was really afraid. He only knew how to rely on the formation barrier and the heavenly way of the imperial city. However, he never mentioned about suppressing Ling Xiao personally. Wasn't this because he was afraid? However, if it's really Ling Xiao, would he be so stupid as to rush into the imperial city to fight with you? Lord Guardian, where is your myriad calamity heavenly demon body? Where is the ruthlessness you showed when you captured the trial takers to mine? Why did you keep silent when Ling Xiao was mentioned? Although the 3 guardian commanders were cursing in their hearts, they did not dare to say it out loud. The aggressive demonic rock guardian had originally planned to rush into the heavenly devil mineral vein and capture the 3 thieves. However, he no longer mentioned the matter of taking action. Mo Peng guardian chose to wait outside the formation barrier. As long as the 3 thieves dared to come out, he would kill them directly. Outside the formation barrier, it became a little quiet and the atmosphere was extremely awkward. In the heavenly demon mineral vein. Darkness Ling Xiao did not know that he was mistaken for Ling Xiao. However, even if he knew, it was nothing. He was Ling Xiao's darkness doppelganger. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was Ling Xiao. Moreover, he did not expect Mo Peng Guardian to be so afraid of Ling Xiao. The 3 of them were attracted by the cave in front of them at this moment. What is this place? Yap Liangshan asked curiously. This was an incomparably vast underground space. It looked like a forgotten world. The hundreds of heavenly demon crystals above their heads were just the beginning. The further they walked, the more heavenly demon crystals there were on the stone walls on both sides. The heavenly demon crystals that were hard to find in the mine were like ordinary stones here. They could be seen everywhere. At a rough glance, there were more than 1,000 heavenly demon crystals. We're rich. There are so many heavenly demon crystals. Did we come to the core of the heavenly demon mineral vein? Zhao Ritian exclaimed excitedly. The core of the heavenly demon mineral vein. Could there be a heavenly demon crystal core here? Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. It's very possible. Only a heavenly demon crystal core can make the heavenly demon crystals so obedient. Let's go. If we find a heavenly demon crystal core, we'll be rich. Yap Liangchen's eyes lit up as he nodded. Naturally, they did not let go of the heavenly demon crystals on the stone walls on both sides. They easily collected them. As they walked forward, they had already dug up more than 1,000 heavenly demon crystals. In front of them, there was a black mist. It was filled with a strong heavenly demon aura. It formed all kinds of mysterious and eerie scenes. They realized that the heavenly demon crystals on the stone walls were constantly absorbing the heavenly demon aura. They were buzzing and emitting a deep light. There seemed to be something in the black mist that was causing all the heavenly demon crystals to resonate with each other. It must be a heavenly demon crystal core. Yap Liangchen said excitedly. Zhao Ritian also nodded. His eyes were filled with eagerness. Zhao Ritian was still collecting the heavenly demon crystals in the surroundings. Yap Liangchen could not wait any longer and ran into the black mist. Something's not right. Be careful. Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he said hurriedly. However, his reminder was too late. Yap Liangchen had already come into contact with the black mist. The black mist suddenly surged. A black lightning bolt that contained the power to destroy everything flew out from the mist. It was extremely fast and struck Yap Liangchen's body. Yap Liangchen screamed. He did not even have the time to dodge. He was instantly struck by the black lightning. Yap Liangchen's body twitched. He was foaming at the mouth. His hair stood on end. His body was surrounded by black lightning. He looked extremely miserable. However, there was an extremely mysterious power in Yap Liangchen's body. It shone brightly and turned the lightning into nothingness. Therefore, Yap Liangchen did not suffer any serious injuries. It was just a superficial wound. Swoosh! Darkness Ling Xiao waved his hand. Suddenly, a black divine rainbow flew across the sky. It wrapped around Yap Liangchen and pulled him back. Rumble! Within the black mist, an incomparably terrifying aura rose. It was as if a primordial beast had awakened, causing Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian to reveal an incomparably solemn expression. Could there be some ancient demonic beast here? Zhao Ritian said slowly. I'm afraid it's not an ancient demonic beast. Darkness Ling Xiao said. Within the black fog, streaks of blazing lightning rose, containing a tyrannical and terrifying power. In an instant, they swept across the sky like a waterfall, enveloping the entire catacombs. Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian and Yap Liangchen were naturally the main targets. Rumble! Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes were like steel. The chaotic light around him shone brightly. He threw out a punch. An unparalleled fist print swept across the void and destroyed all the black lightning bolts that were coming towards him. Zhao Ritian took out the Flame Emperor Cauldron. It floated above the three of them. Streaks of flames fell from the cauldron and covered them like a barrier. When the black lightning struck the Flame Emperor Cauldron, a deafening sound was heard. The Flame Emperor Cauldron shook violently. Yap Liangchen, this is all your fault. Zhao Ritian glared at Yap Liangchen. How would I know? I thought the heavenly demon crystal core was in the mist. Who knew that there was such a terrifying thing in there? Yap Liangchen said with a long face. Anyway, nothing good will happen when I'm with you. Zhao Ritian was also extremely depressed. Yap Liangchen was indeed the body of misfortune. Even with his heaven-defying luck, he was unlucky. Devouring from the black mist, although the existence had not appeared yet, the explosive power of the lightning was comparable to that of a peerless emperor. It was obvious that it was not something to be trifled with. "I'd like to see what the hell is it." Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed coldly. He immediately summoned the three-legged golden crow. Rumble. The power of the Flame Emperor Cauldron was added to the three-legged golden crow. The three-legged golden crow shone brightly. The boundless grand sun primordial flame surged and formed a sea of fire that surged towards the black mist. Darkness Ling Xiao also rose into the sky. The chaotic mist around him rose. There seemed to be a mysterious world of black and white behind him. It contained an unparalleled devouring power. The black mist was formed by the heavenly demon's demonic qi. It surged over and was devoured by Darkness Ling Xiao. As Darkness Ling Xiao devoured the black mist and the grand sun primordial flame burned, the black mist started to thin out. The existence in the black mist seemed to have sensed the threat as well. In an instant, it turned into a huge whirlpool and swallowed all the black mist like a whale swallowing the sea. When the black mist disappeared, Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian and Yap Liangshan saw the existence in it. It was a black stone that floated in the void. It was about the size of a wash basin and was surrounded by majestic heavenly demonic qi. Blazing thunderbolts intertwined and exuded an ancient and desolate aura. An illusory face appeared on the black stone. It looked chubby and cute. However, its eyes were filled with anger. Moreover, there were heavenly demon crystals around the black stone. They were piled up into a small hill. There were thousands of them. Has the stone become a spirit? Yi Liangshan stuck his head out and said. His eyes were filled with surprise and doubt. It was this guy that released the lightning and hit him. Don't talk nonsense. I'm afraid this is the heavenly demon crystal core. However, I don't know why it has become sentient. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with shock. We're rich. As long as we can get our hands on this heavenly demon crystal core, the heavenly demon crystals will be ours. Darkness Ling Xiao grinned. His eyes were filled with passion. Zhao Ritian and Yap Liangshan's eyes were green with envy. There were so many heavenly demon crystals. It would be more than 100,000, let alone 10,000. Ants, how dare you disturb the great heavenly demon emperor's slumber? You deserve to die. That black stone stared at Dark Ling Xiao and the other two with an unfriendly expression. It was filled with anger and actually spoke in human language. Heavenly demon emperor? There's a living emperor here. Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two shuddered. They felt their hair stand on end. Their eyes were filled with vigilance. Chapter 32-33. The heavenly demon crystal core's words shocked Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two. If a great emperor were to wake up from his slumber, the eternal emperor road would be in big trouble. What are you looking at? I'm the heavenly demon emperor. You ants have offended me. Why don't you kneel down and beg for forgiveness? As long as you're willing to be my pet, I can let bygones be bygones and spare your lives. The heavenly demon crystal core stared at Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two in dissatisfaction. You're the heavenly demon emperor? You scared me. Yap Liangshan stared at the heavenly demon crystal core and heaved a sigh of relief. Just you? Heavenly demon emperor? Zhao Ritian said in disdain. Although the heavenly demon crystal core had gained sentience and was not weak, it was still far from being a great emperor. How could it be so boastful? Darkness Ling Xiao stared at the heavenly demon crystal core as if he was trying to see through it. The more heaven-defying a treasure was, the harder it was for it to gain sentience. The heavenly demon crystal core had not only gained sentience but also started to cultivate. In Darkness Ling Xiao's opinion, the heavenly demon crystal core already had the cultivation of an imperial emperor. The heavenly demon crystal core's combat power was far beyond that of an ordinary imperial emperor. What do you know? I achieved my Tao in the ancient times and severed my cultivation to seal it here. I'll definitely become an emperor again in the future. You only have two options. You can either submit or die. The heavenly demon crystal nucleus sneered. His expression was incomparably arrogant and overbearing. Although the heavenly demon crystal core looked simple and honest, it spoke like an old man and was very arrogant. It wanted to keep Darkness Lingxiao and the other two as pets. Get it? Darkness Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yap Liangchen looked at each other and roared at the same time. They charged towards the heavenly demon crystal core. Previously, they were afraid of the creature in the black mist. They did not know if it was a prehistoric demon or some other powerful existence. However, now that they found out that it was a stone that gained sentience, they no longer had any scruples. Although the heavenly demon crystal core was strong, could it be compared to Darkness Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yap Liangchen? A chaos fiend, a son of providence, and a saint physique of misfortune. With the three of them working together, they didn't even fear the imperial city's guardian envoy, an ancient prodigy. Rumble. Dark soaring firmament took the lead. Blazing light rose from his body as his fist imprints moved unhindered, smashing down towards the heavenly demon crystal core. How dare you! How dare you offend the great sky demon emperor? All of you must die. The heavenly demon crystal core was furious. Black demonic light rose around its body as wisps of mysterious aura intertwined. Destructive lightning fell like a waterfall, instantly enveloping Darkness Lingxiao and the other two. At the same time, the heavenly demon crystal core was extremely fast. Like a divine rainbow, it expanded in the void and turned into an ancient mountain. It was powerful and ancient, and it wanted to suppress the three of them. The black lightning contained the power to destroy life. However, Darkness Lingxiao's body was surrounded by chaotic light. His physical body was incomparably strong. He did not dodge at all. Instead, he bathed in the lightning that filled the sky and charged forward. The demonic armor on his fist burst out with a dazzling light, striking the air and colliding with the heavenly demon crystal core in an instant. Boom! The void rumbled, and the surrounding void was shaking. The heavenly demon crystal core that had turned into an ancient mountain was sent flying by dark soaring firmament's punch. How dare you pretend to be the emperor with your insignificant cultivation level? Let Grandpa teach you how to be a human. Zhao Ritian sneered. The heavenly Tao emperor's sword soared into the sky, and sword chi swept across the void. It turned into thousands of sword lights and shrouded the heavenly demon crystal core. When the sharp sword chi slashed on the heavenly demon crystal core, there was the sound of metal clashing, and sparks flew in all directions. The heavenly demon crystal core screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Grandpa is in so much pain. You are all dead. No one can save you. Even if I have to ascend to heaven or dive into hell, I will kill all of you. Boom. However, before it could finish its sentence, Yi Liangchen sneaked up on it. An ancient seal appeared in Yi Liangchen's palm. It was intertwined with the sun, moon, stars, mountains, and rivers. It suddenly smashed onto the heavenly demon crystal core. The heavenly demon crystal core trembled violently, and streams of heavenly demon chi escaped. The heavenly demon crystal core screamed again. Although the heavenly demon crystal core was strong, there was a limit to its strength. It merely borrowed the power of the heavenly demon crystal and the convenience of hiding in the black mist. However, in terms of combat power, how could it compare to dark soaring firmament and Zhao Ritian? Even Yi Liangchen could fix it. Rumble. In the underground cavern, divine lights intertwined, lightning flashed, and sword chi surged. At the same time, the screams of the heavenly demon crystal core could be heard. The heavenly demon mineral vein was trembling violently, as if it was going to collapse at any time. What happened? In the heavenly demon mineral lode, the trial takers, whose cultivation had been sealed, were mining. Their eyes were filled with bewilderment. They could feel that the violent and terrifying aura came from the depths of the mineral vein. It made them tremble uncontrollably, and they felt that a great disaster was about to befall them. The trial takers no longer cared about mining, and they all escaped from the heavenly demon mineral vein. The abnormal movement of the heavenly demon mineral vein also alarmed Mo Peng and the others outside the array. The abnormal movement of the heavenly demon mineral vein. Such a big commotion. Are they going to destroy the heavenly demon mineral vein? The arrogant young man said slowly, and his eyes were full of shock. This aura fluctuation seems to be the fluctuation of a great battle. Could it be that they have encountered a strong enemy in the depths of the heavenly demon mineral vein? The demonic rock guardian muttered in his heart. However, the trial takers in the heavenly demon mineral vein had their cultivation level sealed. Other than that, there was only the heavenly demon crystal. There were no living creatures at all, and it was even more impossible for there to be prehistoric demonic beasts. What had Dark Soaring Firmament and the others encountered? The demonic rock guardian was shocked and doubtful, and he did not dare to act rashly. Everyone, don't panic. They must have an internal conflict because of the heavenly demon crystal. I'm afraid they are fighting to the death now. After the battle, we will enter the heavenly demon mineral vein and catch them all in one fell swoop. The demonic rock guardian said proudly to the crowd, and his eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. Yes. The guards bowed and replied, Masters, please stop fighting. Please stop fighting. I surrender. The heavenly demon crystal core cried out in pain, and it kept dodging the attacks while begging for mercy. It was really scared. Zhao Ritian used the Yen Emperor Cauldron to seal the area and cut off the connection between it and the heavenly demon crystal core, cutting off its source of energy. The heavenly Tao Emperor sword was invincible, and the sword chi could destroy everything. Even though the heavenly demon crystal core was extremely tough, it still cried out in pain. Dark Soaring Firmament's demonic armor contained the power to destroy everything. Although he did not use his full strength, the heavenly demon crystal core was still fearful of him. The celestial star seal in Yi Liangchen's hand was also a powerful emperor weapon. In addition, Yi Liangchen was extremely wretched, and every time he attacked, the heavenly demon crystal core would cry out in pain. In short, the heavenly demon crystal core felt that the three of them were extremely bad, and they were so powerful that it could not fight back at all. Moreover, with the Yen Emperor Cauldron sealing the area, it could not escape. It became a living target, and it had to face the storm-like attacks of Dark Soaring Firmament, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangchen. The originally arrogant heavenly demon crystal core was completely scared. These three guys were too terrifying. If this continued, it's suspected that it would be cut into pieces by them. Now you want to beg for mercy? It's too late. Zhao Ritian sneered and said, Kill it. The heavenly demon fiendish chi in its body is enough for the three of us to refine our bodies. Dark Soaring Firmament said coldly, This guy is really arrogant. Today we must teach it a lesson. Yi Liangchen sneered. The heavenly demon crystal core was about to cry. The three of them were really stubborn. No matter how it begged for mercy, the three of them had no intention of letting it go. They would not stop until it was dead. Sirs, please spare me. I will not dare to go against you anymore. It was not easy for me to cultivate to this point. As long as you let me go, I will tell you a big secret. The heavenly demon crystal core cried out miserably. However, it was obvious that the three of them were not interested in the big secret. They continued to muster their strength and attacked the heavenly demon crystal core with all sorts of powerful attacks. My three grandfathers, I'm truly convinced. As long as you let me go, I will tell you how I was born with spiritual intelligence. Do you know? There is a divine demon spring here. It contains a vast amount of primordial spirit energy. It was because I soaked in the divine demon spring for hundreds of millions of years that I was born with spiritual intelligence. If you can get your hands on the divine demon spring, your indestructible primordial spirit will be purer and more condensed. You will be able to reach the peak of the Emperor realm and save thousands of years of hard work. This is a great opportunity. As long as you let me go, I will tell you the location of the divine demon spring. The heavenly demon crystal core said loudly while dodging the attacks of the three of them. Divine demon spring? Dark Soaring Firmament, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen stopped attacking the heavenly demon crystal core at the same time. They looked at each other and nodded slightly. Where is the divine demon spring? Hurry up and bring us there. If you dare to lie to us, we will cut you into pieces. Zhao Ritian said fiercely. The divine demon spring was a supreme treasure that only existed on the Eternal Emperor Road. The so-called god was the indestructible primordial spirit, while the demon was the blood chi. The divine demon spring was a magical energy formed by the fusion of the indestructible primordial spirit and the blood chi of the fallen elites. However, it was extremely difficult to form the divine demon spring. It had to be in a specific area, and there had to be enough elites that had fallen. Who would have thought that there would be a divine demon spring here? Dark soaring firmament, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen were naturally tempted. Let me go first. As long as you let me go, I will tell you the location of the divine demon spring. The heavenly demon crystal core rolled its eyes and said to Zhao Ritian, "Let you go? Dream on. Tell us where it is. If you are right, we will consider letting you go. Otherwise, we will cut you into pieces." Yi Liangchen sneered. Looking at the three of them, the heavenly demon crystal core wanted to cry, but no tears came out. In the end, it chose to give in. The location of the divine demon spring was where the heavenly demon crystal core was originally located. However, it was sealed by the heavenly demon energy. After the seal on the heavenly demon crystal core was removed, Dark Soaring Firmament and the other two saw a divine spring appear on the ground. It gurgled and flowed. It was black and white, holy and mysterious. At the same time, it contained a dark and evil aura. That was the divine demon spring. Dark Soaring Firmament, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen's eyes lit up. The divine demon energy was contained in the divine demon spring. Although it could not directly increase one's cultivation, it could refine one's body and increase the power of the indestructible primordial spirit. Brothers, can you let me go now? As long as you let me go, I promise that I will never be your enemy again. The heavenly demon crystal core asked carefully. Trying to leave? It's not impossible. However, the demonic rock guardian has set up a barrier outside. Do you think you can escape? Zhao Ritian said with a smile. Demonic rock? That bastard! The heavenly demon crystal core immediately gritted his teeth and cursed. His eyes were filled with shock and anger. Obviously, he recognized the demonic rock guardian and had suffered a great loss. That bastard demonic rock had people steal many of my heavenly demon crystals. I can only hide here because of him. Otherwise, I would have run out of here. What should I do? He will not let me go. The heavenly demon crystal core said uneasily. He had just escaped from the wolf's den and entered the tiger's den. The heavenly demon crystal core's eyes suddenly fell on Dark Soaring Firmament, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen. Although these three bastards were a little shameless, they were very strong. If they could hold back the demonic rock guardian, he might be able to escape. Hee, three big brothers, can you bring this little brother out with you? The heavenly demon crystal core said with a flattering smile. It's not impossible to bring you out, but it depends on whether you can afford it. Yi Liangchen said with a smile. Didn't I give you the divine demon spring? What else do you want? The heavenly demon crystal core stuttered. Divine demon spring? That's the price for your life. It doesn't include the price for us to protect you. If you want us to bring you out, you have to give us something good. Dark Soaring Firmament said calmly. The three of them secretly communicated with each other. They knew that the heavenly demon crystal core was not simple, so they could not let him go so easily. You are too cunning. What other treasures do I have? I've robbed all of them. The heavenly demon crystal core said with a sad face. I'm warning you, don't talk nonsense. Otherwise, we won't go easy on you. Yi Liangchen said fiercely. All right, I'll give it to you. As long as you bring me out of here, I'll tell you the location of one of the great emperors. The heavenly demon crystal core said with gritted teeth. The location of one of the great emperors? Dark Soaring Firmament and the other two's eyes lit up. This heavenly demon crystal core indeed had a lot of goods. It seemed like they could not let him go so easily. Very well. Since that's the case, you can protect the three of us first. We're going to enter the divine demon spring to cultivate. When we're done cultivating, we'll bring you out of here. Dark Soaring Clouds nodded and turned to walk into the celestial demonic spring. Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen followed behind him. Bastards, how dare you cheat my treasures? I'll teach you a lesson when I get out of here. The heavenly demon crystal core looked at the backs of the three and cursed in his heart. Chapter 32-34. Did they find the heavenly demon crystal core? Outside the heavenly demon mineral vein, the embark guardian's face was full of suspicion. The heavenly demon crystal core was the core of the heavenly demon mineral vein. If he could obtain the heavenly demon crystal core and use the heavenly demon's power to refine his body, his calamity heavenly demon body would have been completed. Why would he bother to mine the heavenly demon crystal core? However, he had seen the heavenly demon crystal core once in the heavenly demon mineral vein. The heavenly demon crystal core seemed to have developed spirituality and had extraordinary strength. It had escaped from his hands, which made him feel extremely regretful. He had set up a boundary formation outside the heavenly demon mineral vein not only to prevent others from spying on it, but also to trap the heavenly demon crystal core. The heavenly demon crystal core was a treasure that he was determined to obtain. No matter what, it could not fall into the hands of others. At this moment, the heavenly demon mineral vein, which had been extremely intense, suddenly calmed down. The battle had stopped. Did they subdue the heavenly demon crystal core? The embark guardian felt a sense of anxiety in his heart. No, I can't continue like this. I have to go in and find out what's going on. If Ling Xiao is really here, I'll just run away. If he's not here, those three thieves will die. The embark guardian thought to himself, and a trace of cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. Buzz. He waved his sleeve, and suddenly, a bright light shone. Runes intertwined and imprinted on the boundary formation. A bright light door instantly appeared on the boundary formation. Everyone, follow me into the heavenly demon mineral vein to find the whereabouts of those three thieves. Once you see them, inform me immediately. The embark guardian shouted. Yes. The many guards felt a chill in their hearts as they bowed and said. The embark guardian was finally going to take action. It seemed that the heavenly demon mineral vein's movement had made the guardian unable to sit still. He had chosen to take action immediately to kill those three thieves. What made the guards somewhat nervous was Ling Xiao's name. If Ling Xiao was really in the heavenly demon mineral vein, would the embark guardian be a match for him? There was no time for them to think too much. They could only follow embark guardian into the heavenly devil mineral vein. Everyone listen up. Anyone who discovers the whereabouts of the three thieves who broke into the heavenly devil mineral vein can be exempted from the death penalty, recover their cultivation, and leave here safely. The embark guardian's voice echoed in the ears of the trial takers who were mining. Restore my cultivation and leave this place? The trial takers who were mining had originally been numb. At this moment, their dull eyes suddenly lit up. Recover your cultivation and leave this place. This was something that everyone yearned for even in their dreams. It was a huge surprise for them. As a result, they ignored their hatred for the embark protector and charged into the various tunnels to search for the three of them. The entire heavenly devil mineral vein was in chaos. Dark soaring clouds did not know that embark guardian had already made up his mind to come to the heavenly devil mineral lode to search for them. He, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangshan entered the heavenly devil spring and were absorbing the majestic energy of the heavenly devil spring. The heavenly devil spring contained a vast amount of divine devil power. It was a powerful force formed by the fusion of the physical body and primordial spirit. Although the heavenly devil crystal core had consumed a lot of it, there was still a large amount of heavenly devil spring left. Dark soaring clouds sat cross-legged in the heavenly devil spring with his eyes closed. With a punch, he sent the heavenly devil crystal core, who was trying to sneak into the heavenly devil spring, flying out. This is too much. You guys are too much. The heavenly devil spring is mine. You guys took the heavenly devil spring and didn't let me cultivate? The heavenly devil crystal core said with grief and indignation. It felt that it was too difficult for it. The three malefactors stole its heavenly devil spring and took away all the heavenly devil crystals without any hesitation. At this moment, they were still cultivating in the heavenly devil spring. These three bastards were too shameless. After the heavenly devil crystal core finished speaking, no one responded to it. Dark soaring clouds and the other two were sitting cross-legged in the heavenly devil's spring. The divine devil power around them was surging, and their blood was rising. They were absorbing and refining the divine devil power to increase the strength of their physical body and primordial spirit. The God-Fiend spring was a rare and supreme treasure to Dark Firmament and the other two. Dark Soaring Clouds was also very excited. He felt that it was the right choice to follow Zhao Ritian. This guy was extremely lucky. He had obtained the Dao fruit and now he had obtained the heavenly devil spring. If this continued, he would probably not be far from attaining the Dao and becoming an emperor, right? Yi Liangchen was even more relieved. This guy had the saint physique of misfortune. Not only could he bring misfortune to others, but he could also bring misfortune to himself. Ever since he had arrived at Eternal Emperor Road, he had been the target of everyone's ire. He was an existence that everyone respected and feared. He had almost never obtained any opportunities or treasures. It was better to follow Zhao Ritian. Yi Liangchen had decided that he would hug Zhao Ritian's thigh tightly. He would not let go no matter what. The divine devil power in the heavenly devil spring was ancient and mysterious. When it entered Dark Soaring Cloud's body, it turned into a clear and turbid chi. The clear chi rose to the sky and merged with Dark Soaring Cloud's indestructible primordial spirit. It made Dark Soaring Cloud's indestructible primordial spirit shine brightly. Its aura became stronger and stronger. The turbid chi sank to the ground and merged with Dark Soaring Cloud's body. It made Dark Soaring Cloud's body seem to have the weight of the earth. His body was becoming stronger and stronger. This kind of strength had nothing to do with the increase of cultivation. It was all about the strength of one's foundation. Dark Soaring Clouds had obtained the inheritance of the Chaos Demon tribe. His physical body had formed the Chaos Demon body. After merging with the divine devil power, his Chaos Demon body gradually became complete. The chaotic light around his body rose, as if scenes of the birth and destruction of worlds were emerging. Inside the dark Ling Zhao's body, the particles seemed to be splitting the sky and earth apart, forming their own small worlds. They became crystal clear, exquisite, and flawless. This was the creation of a chaos divine kingdom. Dark Soaring Cloud's body seemed to have become a big world. The particles in his body were constantly reorganizing and evolving into a chaos divine kingdom. It made Dark Soaring Cloud's body heavier and heavier. Even if he did not attack, his body was as heavy as a desolate mountain. With a raise of his hand, he could pick up the stars and the moon and shatter the universe. It was a piece of cake. This was a mysterious phenomenon that only appeared when the Chaos Demon body was complete. Most importantly, Dark Soaring Clouds felt that the connection between him and the demonic armor was getting stronger. If he fully activated the demonic armor's power now, it would not be like before. He would not be unable to continue fighting after one punch. With the strength of Dark Soaring Cloud's body, he could at least withstand 3 full-powered attacks from the demonic armor. One had to know that when he fully activated the demonic armor previously, even Zhu Yuanlang of the Boar Demon tribe could not withstand one punch from him. At this moment, Dark Soaring Clouds was filled with confidence. He felt that even if the demonic rock guardian was standing in front of him, he could kill him with one punch. Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen had also improved by quite a bit. The aura around them had become even more unfathomable. These 3 malefic stars had become even stronger. The heavenly demon crystal core muttered at the side. Its eyes were filled with jealousy and unwillingness. The heavenly demon spring that had been nurtured here for hundreds of millions of years had finally been consumed by Dark Soaring Clouds, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen. Even the heavenly demon crystal core's disciples, hundreds of thousands of heavenly demon crystals, had been absorbed by Dark Soaring Clouds and the other two. The heavenly demon crystal core was getting more and more shocked. The powerful potential that the 3 of them had displayed was simply heaven-defying. Once they broke through to the unparalleled Imperial Emperor realm, who could stop them? I will use them to attract the attention of the old demonic rock later. I will take the opportunity to escape. I must leave these 3 malefic stars behind. The heavenly demon crystal core thought to itself. If it was not for the fear of the demonic rock guardian and the inescapable trap outside, it would have escaped long ago. That old demonic rock has entered the heavenly demon mineral vein? Suddenly, the heavenly demon crystal core's eyes turned and revealed a shocked expression. It had sensed the aura of the demonic rock guardian. The heavenly demon crystal core stole a glance at dark soaring clouds and the other two. When it saw that they were cultivating in the heavenly demon spring, it immediately retreated and silently released a trace of aura. It was the aura that belonged to the heavenly demon crystal core. Heavenly demon crystal core? In the heavenly demon mineral vein, the demonic rock's eyes instantly lit up. The heavenly demon crystal core was indeed still in the heavenly demon mineral vein and had not left. The demonic rock instantly decided to capture the heavenly demon crystal core. Once he had captured the heavenly demon crystal core, he would leave immediately. No matter the identity of the three thieves, once he refined the heavenly demon crystal core, they would all die. Rumble. After sensing the aura of the heavenly demon crystal core, a blazing light rose from the demonic rock's palm. In an instant, it was pushed out horizontally. It contained an extremely terrifying aura that could topple mountains and overturn seas. The mountain wall in front of him was instantly smashed into pieces. The demonic rock leaped over and discovered the vast space in the catacombs. Heavenly demon crystal core, let's see where you can escape to this time. The demonic rock's voice was cold and domineering. He stepped on the void and the terrifying aura around him caused the surrounding void to tremble. His aura had already locked onto the heavenly demon crystal core. This time, no matter what, he would not let the heavenly demon crystal core escape. Many guards followed behind the demonic rock guardian and rushed into the catacombs. The demonic rock's speed was extremely fast. In an instant, he had arrived at the center of the catacombs. In the center of the catacombs, the heavenly demon crystal core grinned at the demonic rock. Its eyes were filled with ridicule. Dark soaring clouds, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshan opened their eyes at the same time. There was a sharp light in their eyes that pierced through the void. It's you guys? Behind the demonic rock guardian, the cold and arrogant young commander's eyes flashed coldly as he exclaimed, Lord Guardian, it's the three of them who broke into the heavenly demon mineral vein. The cold and arrogant young commander's face was filled with anger as he pointed at dark soaring clouds and the other two. The demonic rock guardian's eyes flashed as he glanced at dark soaring clouds, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshan. He was wondering if dark soaring clouds was among the three of them. It's the three of you who broke into my palace? You're courting death. Why don't you surrender now? The demonic rock said coldly. You're the demonic rock? Dark soaring clouds revealed a cruel smile. He stood up and stared at the demonic rock guardian in front of him. His strength had increased tremendously. Just as he was about to find someone to test his strength, the demonic rock broke in. This was a good opportunity. For you. The demonic rock guardian squinted his eyes and stared at dark soaring clouds. Puma, if you can take a punch from me, I'll tell you. Dark soaring clouds smiled indifferently. Then, his eyes turned steely as he threw a punch at the demonic rock. Chaotic light rose around him as his vital energy and blood surged. He directly activated the limit of the demonic armor's power. Boundless origin energy surged into the demonic armor, causing it to become as red as blood in an instant. It was like a blood-red mountain that came crashing down mightily. You're courting death. The demonic rock was completely enraged. He did not expect dark soaring clouds to attack without saying a word. The punch suppressed the void as if it could seal everything. It contained a vast and ancient aura that locked the demonic rock in place, leaving him with nowhere to hide. He did not dodge. Instead, he threw a punch at dark soaring clouds. There were heavenly demons dancing wildly in his palm. Lightning rose and covered the sky with a flip of his palm. The power was extremely terrifying. He was very cautious. Although he did not know dark soaring cloud's identity, he still went all out to deal with him. Boom! The fist and the palm collided, causing the void to shake. It was as if a sun had exploded, giving off an endless amount of light in an instant. Bloody light permeated the void. The demonic armor contained an extremely terrifying power that blasted the palm imprint apart. Then, it clashed violently with the demonic rock. The demonic rock's palm suddenly exploded into a bloody mist. He seemed to have been hit by an unparalleled divine power. His body trembled violently as he spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out. Ling Xiao. The demonic rock was shocked and furious. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at dark soaring clouds and roared. He was almost convinced that the dark Ling Xiao in front of him was the legendary Ling Xiao who had killed the two guardians. When he thought of this, the battle intent in his heart was instantly extinguished. Only endless fear was left. A strange look appeared in dark soaring cloud's eyes. Then he smiled proudly and said, "That's right. I am Ling Xiao. Demonic rock, I have already killed the two guardians. I don't need you. Do you want to die?" Rumble. Dark soaring cloud's voice shook the void like thunder. He stepped forward, and the aura around him rose. He was extremely powerful. Endless demonic light shrouded the area, and the chaotic mist was dense. A monstrous force locked onto the demonic rock guardian in front of him. What? He's that Ling Xiao who killed two guardians in a row? What should we do? I'm afraid that the guardian is no match for this ruthless person. Many of the guards' faces changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with disbelief, fear, and fear. Ling Xiao, you want to kill me? You are courting death. The demonic rock's eyes were filled with killing intent. Rays of divine light flashed, and his body exuded an extremely dangerous aura. Dark soaring cloud's lips curled into a cold smile. It seemed that he was going to complete the feat of killing the guardian of the imperial city today. However, at this moment, lightning rose around the demonic rock's body. Runes spread out, and his entire body turned into a black stream of light. He turned around and fled into the distance. The demonic rock's speed was so fast that dark soaring clouds and the others did not even have time to react. In an instant he disappeared from the underground space. The demonic rock guardian had escaped just like that. Everyone was stunned. Chapter 32-35. Dark Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other. Previously, both of them were eager to kill the guardian like Dark Ling Xiao. However, they did not expect the demonic rock guardian to be so shameless. Before the battle even started, he had already escaped. Dark Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian did not even have the time to chase after him. The demonic rock guardian was too cunning. Being as timid as a mouse had given him a chance to live. The guards who came with the demonic rock were dumbfounded. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. This is the guardian of the celestial demon emperor city? Ha! This is too funny. So this is your guardian? Timid as a mouse. After hearing the name of Dark Ling Xiao, he did not even dare to fight. How can someone like him be the guardian of the celestial demon emperor city? Yi Liangchen laughed out loud. His eyes were filled with mockery. His voice fell into the ears of the guards, causing their expressions to turn even uglier. The demonic rock had escaped just like that, leaving them behind. Ling Zhao's name made them even more terrified. This man, who had killed two guardian envoys, had actually appeared in Celestial Demon Emperor City. This was a calamity for Celestial Demon Emperor City. But, Lord Dark Ling Xiao, we failed to recognize you. Please let us go. We will never be your enemy again. The arrogant young man gritted his teeth, bowed deeply to Ling Xiao, and said in a low voice. Of course, the guards could escape. However, they knew that they did not have the cultivation of the demonic rock. Naturally, they would not be able to escape from Dark Ling Xiao and the others so easily. The only way out was to beg for mercy. They can leave, but not you. Dark Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he pointed at the arrogant young man. The other guards were pleasantly surprised. They did not expect Dark Ling Xiao to be so easygoing. However, the arrogant young man's face changed instantly. Lord Dark Ling Xiao, why do you want to keep a small fry like me? The arrogant young man's eyes were filled with panic. You are not a small fry. If I'm not wrong, you should be a robber. Dark Ling Xiao looked at the arrogant young man and said, "What?" Everyone shuddered, their eyes filled with disbelief. The cold and arrogant young man's expression changed drastically as well. Blazing light rose around his body. In an instant, he soared into the sky and teleported into the distance. He was incomparably decisive. After dark soaring clouds revealed his identity, he actually chose to flee. "You want to leave? Ask me first." Zhao Ritian sneered as the heavenly Tao Emperor sword slashed down from the sky. Rumble! The sword chi swept across the void and spread out like a waterfall. Instantly, it blocked in front of the arrogant youth. Scram! The arrogant young man's eyes were filled with shock and anger. He struck out with his palm and a sky seemed to appear in his palm. At the same time, 9 resplendent suns rose up. The sword chi that filled the sky vibrated and finally exploded. The cold and arrogant youth's palm collided with the heavenly Tao Emperor sword. The heavenly Tao Emperor sword hummed, and the sharp sword chi was unparalleled. It instantly changed its move and pierced towards the glabella of the icily arrogant youth. At the same time, dark soaring cloud's eyes were indifferent as he struck out a punch towards the back of the arrogant youth. The ferocious fist print caused the arrogant youth's scalp to go numb. He could only explode with powerful strength in an attempt to block dark soaring clouds' punch. At this moment, the arrogant youth's body was filled with demonic aura, causing the surrounding void to tremble violently. He actually exploded with fighting strength that was not weaker than an unparalleled emperor. However, it was still useless. The icily arrogant youth had no chance of victory against dark soaring firmament, who had activated his demonic armor. Kacha! The void trembled as the arrogant youth's attack was shattered. Dark soaring clouds' fist imprinted on his chest and directly pierced through his chest. Blood radiance filled the air as dark soaring clouds struck out another punch. With lightning speed, it landed on the arrogant youth's head. Boom! The arrogant youth's head exploded like a watermelon. His entire body turned into a blood mist in the void. Dark soaring clouds reached out and grabbed a resplendent indestructible primordial spirit from the blood mist. At the same time, it was surrounded by 36 origin Tao fruits. What? Commander Lung really is a robber? How is this possible? The guard's eyes were filled with disbelief. However, the 36 origin Tao fruits around the arrogant youth's indestructible primordial spirit clearly revealed his true identity. Only a robber would collect so many origin Tao fruits. Moreover, the arrogant youth's sea of consciousness had a transcendent and ethereal presence that was completely different from others. How did you discover my true identity? Even Mo Ping didn't discover it. How did you? The arrogant youth's indestructible primordial spirit struggled violently in dark soaring clouds' hand. His eyes were filled with resentment, shock, and unwillingness. His identity was extremely well hidden. Even Mo Ping Guardian hadn't discovered it. He'd obtained many origin Tao fruits by acting as Mo Peng's subordinate. However, he hadn't expected dark soaring clouds to expose his identity so quickly. Don't compare me to trash like Mo Peng. As for how I discovered your identity as a robber. Dark soaring clouds smiled faintly and paused for a moment. The arrogant youth stared at dark soaring clouds with wide eyes, wanting to hear the answer from his mouth. But I don't want to tell you. Dark soaring clouds said indifferently. Black chaos flames rose from his palm and enveloped the arrogant youth's indestructible primordial spirit. Why? If the tribulation master won't let you go. The arrogant young man cried out miserably. His eyes were filled with despair and resentment. Tribulation master? Is he the master of the robbers? If you tell me, I can give you a quick death. How about that? Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of astonishment. He looked at the arrogant young man with interest and said, "Why, you don't even think about it." The arrogant youth's indestructible primordial spirit trembled violently and exploded with a boom. Blazing divine light blossomed, and the 36 origin Tao fruits were destroyed one after another, turning into a terrifying storm of destruction that swept out in all directions. He'd chosen to self-destruct his indestructible primordial spirit, but unfortunately, it didn't cause any harm to Dark Soaring Clouds. What a pity! Dark Soaring Clouds' eyes flashed with a trace of pity. He hadn't expected the robbers to be a group. There was even a Tribulation Master. Who was a Tribulation Master who could lead a group of robbers? Dark Soaring Clouds' heart was filled with curiosity. When the guards saw the arrogant youth die in Dark Soaring Clouds' hands, their eyes were filled with terror. They all fled out of the heavenly demon mineral vein. Should we chase after them? Yi Liangchen asked eagerly. No need. They're just a bunch of ants. I'm curious about the Tribulation Master though. I really want to meet him. Dark Soaring Clouds' eyes were filled with eagerness. Isn't that simple? When you reach the end of the Eternal Emperor's Road, all kinds of demons and ghosts will automatically appear. However, the demonic rock has escaped. He must be hiding in the heavenly demon imperial city. I'm afraid it'll be difficult to kill him. Zhao Ritian said slowly. Demonic rock? He's just a piece of trash. It doesn't matter if I kill him or not. However, he actually mistook me for Ling Xiao? Interesting. Maybe I can pretend to be Ling Xiao? Dark Soaring Clouds' eyes flashed as he smiled faintly. That's a good idea. Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen's eyes lit up. Although Ling Xiao was hated by everyone on the Eternal Emperor's Road, he was still a killing machine. Even the Guardian was extremely respectful of him. There weren't many people who dared to chase after Ling Xiao. Pretending to be Ling Xiao at a critical moment might bring unexpected results. Oh no! That bastard heavenly demon crystal core has escaped. Yi Liangchen's face suddenly changed as he hurriedly said. There was no trace of the heavenly demon crystal core in the underground cavern. While demonic rock guardian and Dark Soaring Clouds were confronting each other, that bastard had escaped without a trace. Don't worry. He won't be able to escape. Dark Soaring Clouds smiled faintly as his face was filled with confidence. At that moment, the heavenly demon crystal core had already escaped from the heavenly demon mineral vein and was heading towards the depths of the heavenly demon abyss. His eyes were filled with pride. Ha! Your grandpa heavenly demon can fly as high as the sky, and your grandpa heavenly demon can leap as wide as the sea. From now on, your grandpa heavenly demon can enter the sea. No one will be able to do anything to me anymore. The heavenly demon crystal core laughed maniacally as it was extremely proud of itself. This time, even the demonic rock and Dark Soaring Clouds had been tricked by it. However, it still managed to leave without any hesitation. That place where the great emperor transformed into his Tao will be my capital in the future. Those three bastards better lick my stinky feet. When my cultivation improves greatly and I become an emperor, I'll teach you a lesson. The heavenly demon crystal core cursed in its heart. When it thought of Dark Soaring Clouds and the other two, its heart was filled with resentment. This was the first time it had suffered in the hands of others. Even the demonic rock guardian had not been able to capture it. He could only set up a formation boundary to trap it in the heavenly demon mineral vein. However, not only did Dark Soaring Clouds and the other two bastards not put the great heavenly demon emperor in their eyes, they even snatched his heavenly demon spring and looted all the heavenly demon crystals. Although those things were useless to the heavenly demon crystal core, it still made its heart ache. The heavenly demon crystal core turned into a black bolt of lightning. It traversed the void and instantly rushed into the depths of the heavenly demon abyss. The heavenly demon abyss was like a forgotten world. It was vast and boundless, as if no one could explore to the end. The heavenly demon crystal core flew for tens of millions of miles, passing through mountains, rivers, and vast plains. It also saw boundless snowy mountains. After experiencing the changes of the 4 seasons, it finally arrived at its destination. In front of it was a black sea. However, the strange thing was that the black sea in front of it was unbreakable. It was like a black mirror that was incomparably smooth. The sea water was as black as ink, and nothing could be seen in it. However, there was an ancient and strange aura that filled the air. This sea of death would make all living creatures shrink back at the sight of it. Even those powerful prehistoric demonic beasts did not dare to enter the sea of death. They instinctively chose to go around the Sea of Death. Is this the place where the great Emperor Yen Luo transformed? Legend has it that living creatures can't enter, but I'm a stone. I should be able to enter, right? The heavenly demon crystal core muttered to itself, its eyes full of anticipation. They had arrived at the place where the great Emperor Yen Luo transformed. This was the most legendary great emperor of the ancient times. As long as they could obtain his inheritance and the treasures within, the heavenly demon crystal core might be able to become the real great Emperor Yen Luo. The place where the great Emperor Yen Luo transformed? Who is the great Emperor Yen Luo? At this moment, a calm voice rang in the heavenly demon crystal core's ears, causing it to jump up in fright. Who is it? Who is it? Come out. The heavenly demon crystal core's eyes were full of vigilance. Buzz. The void rippled like water, and a dazzling radiance bloomed. 3 figures appeared in front of the heavenly demon crystal core. They were Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangshan. It's you guys? How did you find this place? Bastard. I know. You guys must have left some marks on me. Seeing Darkness Ling Xiao and the other 2, the heavenly demon crystal core turned pale with fright. Its eyes were filled with shock and anger. Looks like you're not too stupid after all. Heavenly Devil Crystal Core? Is this the place where the Heavenly Devil Emperor will undergo Dao transformation? Darkness Ling Xiao looked at the Heavenly Demon Crystal Core with a faint smile and said. The Heavenly Demon Crystal Core trembled. Being stared at by the 3 people in front of it, it felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over it. Lord Ling Xiao, you're right. This is the place where the great emperor transformed. The most legendary great Emperor Yen Luo of the ancient times had transformed here. The heavenly demon crystal core licked its lips and said with a flattering smile. Boom! The Yen Emperor's cauldron descended from the sky and instantly enveloped the heavenly demon crystal core. Then, the Yen Emperor's flame started to burn the heavenly demon crystal core. Bastard, do you really think we're that easy to fool? You want to use us to fight the demonic rock so that you can find the place where the great emperor transformed? What a great idea! Zhao Ritian sneered. The heavenly demon crystal core screamed in agony from within the Yen Emperor's cauldron. Although the heavenly demon crystal core was cultivated by a demon and its body was extremely strong, the Yen Emperor's flame contained a trace of extreme emperor's might. It caused the heavenly demon crystal core to scream in agony. Brothers, please spare my life. I just want to explore the place. How would I dare to deceive you? The Sea of Death is said to be difficult for living beings to enter. Those who enter will definitely die. I'm doing this for your sake. Please spare my life. The heavenly demon crystal core screamed and begged for mercy. Darkness Ling Xiao ignored the heavenly demon crystal core. It's time to teach this guy a lesson. Otherwise, he won't be honest. Yi Liangshan looked at the Sea of Death with a trace of confusion in his eyes. This place. I feel a little familiar. Yi Liangshan's words gave Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian a great shock. You're familiar with this place? Yap Liangshan's expression turned serious. This was because he had learned about the origin of the great Emperor Yen Luo from his second uncle. The great Emperor Yen Luo was indeed the most legendary great emperor of the ancient times. Could it be that Yi Liangshan was related to the great Emperor Yen Luo? Chapter 32-36. The Emperor Yen Luo was the most legendary emperor in the ancient era. No one knew which era the Emperor Yen Luo was born in. However, there were many records in the universe that recorded the Emperor Yen Luo's deeds. According to the legends, the Emperor Yen Luo was born as a mortal. His talent was poor and he was said to be unable to embark on the path of cultivation. However, the Emperor Yen Luo used his unimaginable perseverance and courage to go through all kinds of hardships and finally embarked on the path of cultivation in his old age. From then on, there was no stopping him. The Emperor Yen Luo progressed bravely. He fought against the heavens, the earth, the humans, and the geniuses of the universe. In the end, he became the most dazzling person in that era and became an emperor. After the Emperor Yen Luo became an emperor, he felt that the living beings in the universe had no one to rely on after they died. He felt that the heavens were flawed and there was no reincarnation. Therefore, he wanted to use the reincarnation Tao to create the 6 paths of reincarnation and create a new world, the underworld. Once the 6 paths of reincarnation was created, all living beings in the universe would enter the underworld after they died and reincarnate using the 6 paths of reincarnation. At the same time, the Emperor Yen Luo offended many Emperor Realm experts and was surrounded by them. However, the Emperor Yen Luo's combat strength was extraordinary and he was invincible. He managed to kill a few Emperor Realm experts even when he was surrounded by so many Emperor Realm experts. From then on, no one could stop the Emperor Yen Luo from creating the 6 paths of reincarnation. Just when the underworld was created and the 6 paths of reincarnation was about to be created, the Emperor Yen Luo suddenly died. There were many different theories about the death of the Emperor Yen Luo. However, there was not enough evidence. However, the Emperor Yen Luo left behind his descendants. They were the current rulers of the underworld, the Nether tribe. The Emperor Yen Luo's great courage in creating the 6 paths of reincarnation was remembered by the later generations. After hearing Zhao Ritian's story about the Emperor Yen Luo, Darkness Ling Xiao and Yap Liangchen's eyes were filled with longing. They wished that they could be born with such a peerless figure. The Emperor Yen Luo was a legend. He was born insignificant but died a great death. If this is really the place where the Emperor Yen Luo died, why do you feel that it's familiar? Zhao Ritian looked at Yap Liangchen and said slowly, I don't know. It's just that when I saw this black sea, I vaguely felt that I've been here before. Yi Liangchen's eyes were filled with confusion. Have you been here before? Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian exchanged glances with each other. There was a trace of shock in their eyes. It seemed like Yi Liangchen had an unusual secret. Big brothers, please spare me. I promise I won't run away again. It's said that only the dead can enter the sea of death. If you let me go, I can take you into the sea of death. The voice of the heavenly demon crystal core sounded from the Yen Emperor cauldron with a hint of flattery. Is it difficult for living beings to enter? Dark Ling Xiao's heart stirred, and he walked to the edge of the sea of death. The black seawater in front of him looked very strange. There were no waves at all. It was like black glass, shining with a strange light. Dark soaring clouds slowly stretched out a hand. When his hand touched the black seawater, he immediately felt an unimaginable chill, as if his soul was being frozen. His palm withered instantly, and his flesh turned into nothingness. Only the black bones were left, and they became incomparably dim. If it wasn't for dark soaring clouds' bones being the origin demon bone of the demon world, his entire hand would have disappeared completely. What a terrifying sea of death! I'm afraid that even a peerless emperor would die if he enters it. Dark soaring clouds sighed softly. He pulled his hand back, and his life force surged around him, trying to restore his withered hand to its original state. At the same time, he dispelled the strange deathly stillness on his arm. However, as his life force surged, the strange deathly stillness was extremely stubborn and difficult to dispel. It was not so easy to restore the flesh that had disappeared from his hand. There seemed to be an incomparably strange energy in the sea of death that could devour all life. Even an Emperor Realm expert wouldn't be able to withstand it. Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed, and the Flame Emperor's flame in the Flame Emperor cauldron stopped burning the heavenly demon crystal core. Zhao Ritian then released the heavenly demon crystal core. With the 3 of them around, he wasn't afraid that the heavenly demon crystal core would escape. Do you have any ideas? Zhao Ritian asked. The sea of death before them was indeed incomparably strange. After dark soaring clouds probing, Zhao Ritian knew that it would be extremely difficult for the 3 of them to enter the sea of death. Now, it was up to the heavenly demon crystal core to see if he had any ideas. The heavenly demon crystal core came out of the Flame Emperor cauldron, and it didn't dare to escape. It became extremely obedient. Looking at dark soaring clouds and the other 2, the heavenly demon crystal core complained in its heart. It knew that if it didn't give an explanation today, it would really be finished. However, These three bastards were too shameless. They actually left a mark on it and followed it here. They were extremely cunning. Wait for the Netherworld ship. The heavenly demon crystal core said slowly, looking a little guilty. Netherworld ship? Dark soaring cloud's eyes flashed, as if he thought of something. That's right. It's the Netherworld ship. The Netherworld ship is one of the 10 great chaotic treasures. Legend has it that it was owned by the great Emperor Yen Luo. However, the Netherworld ship here isn't a true chaotic treasure. It's just a mark on the Netherworld ship. The Netherworld ship will avoid evil. Once we board the Netherworld ship, we will be able to enter the Sea of Death and reach the true place of great Emperor Yen Luo. The heavenly demon crystal core nodded. When will the Netherworld ship appear? Zhao Ritian asked. I don't know. The heavenly demon crystal core shook its head. Are you kidding me? Do you want to die? Zhao Ritian glared, and a trace of ferocity flashed in his eyes. The heavenly demon crystal core was instantly frightened. I really didn't lie to you. I really don't know. I only know that the Netherworld ship will appear in the Sea of Death. Only by boarding the Netherworld ship can we enter the place of great Emperor Yen Luo. As for when the Netherworld ship will appear, I really don't know. The heavenly demon crystal core said with a long face. Is that the Netherworld ship? Yap Liangshan suddenly pointed at the Sea of Death and asked. Dark soaring clouds, Yap Liangshan and the heavenly demon crystal core couldn't help but tremble. They immediately looked at the Sea of Death. They saw a small boat floating on the Sea of Death. It was a black boat, and it looked very ordinary. There was no one on it, but it automatically floated towards dark soaring clouds and the others. Most importantly, the Sea of Death was still without any ripples. The black boat seemed to be floating on top of a mirror, and it emitted a very eerie and mysterious aura, which made one's hair stand. This was the Netherworld ship. Buzz. After reaching the shore, the Netherworld ship suddenly trembled slightly, and a black halo spread out. The cabin door slowly opened, and a chilly wind blew out, causing Darkling Xiao and the others to involuntarily shiver. This Netherworld ship was very eerie. The Netherworld ship. This Netherworld ship is exactly the same as the one in the Reincarnation Sea of War God World. Could it be that the two are related? Dark soaring clouds thought in his heart. On the Reincarnation Sea of War God World, there was also a Netherworld ship that connected the Eight Desolates region and the War God continent. Dark soaring clouds had boarded the Netherworld ship before, so he naturally knew about it. The heavenly demon crystal core was also stunned. What it said about the Netherworld ship was, in fact, just something it made up. It knew that Emperor Yen Luo had the Netherworld ship, but the Netherworld ship had disappeared long ago. No one knew where it was. It only wanted to fool dark soaring clouds and the others, but it didn't expect the Netherworld ship to really appear. Moreover, the aura on the Netherworld ship made the heavenly demon crystal core tremble. It was too eerie. Will we be able to reach Emperor Yen Luo's place of Dao transformation once we board the Netherworld ship? Zhao Ritian stared at the heavenly demon crystal core and asked. His eyes were filled with anticipation. The heavenly demon crystal core finally behaved for once. However, Zhao Ritian didn't know about the little scheme in the heavenly demon crystal core. After being stared at by Zhao Ritian, the heavenly demon crystal core felt its scalp tingle. It could only nod and say, "That's right." Great. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with excitement. Emperor Yen Luo, the most legendary emperor of the ancient era. What kind of treasure would there be in his place of Dao transformation? Zhao Ritian didn't seem to know what fear was. He was already looking forward to it. Let's go. Dark soaring clouds, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangshan looked at each other and nodded their heads. They stepped onto the Netherworld ship. The heavenly demon crystal core wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Although it was extremely afraid of the Netherworld ship, it could only walk onto it with its scalp tingling. Buzz. The cabin door of the Netherworld ship closed once again. Then, it drifted into the Sea of Death. It's exactly the same as the Netherworld ship in the War God plane. Dark soaring clouds' eyes revealed a trace of eerie light. This netherworld ship wasn't just the same on the outside. Even the interior was exactly the same. There were a few tables and chairs. There was a lamp on the table. The lamp emitted a strange green light, illuminating the interior of the cabin. Dark soaring clouds could clearly see that there was a staircase in the corner that led downwards. The cabin of the netherworld ship had 2 levels. There was another level below. Is there a coffin in the lower level of the ship? Dark soaring clouds subconsciously walked towards the staircase. Big brother, where are you going? This netherworld ship is very strange. You can't touch the things inside. Otherwise, something bad might happen. The heavenly demon crystal core's teeth were chattering as it said hurriedly. I'm just looking around. Dark soaring clouds said indifferently. He continued walking towards the lower level of the ship. Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshan followed him. It's gone? Dark soaring clouds' eyes revealed a trace of incomparable surprise. The lower level of the ship was empty. There wasn't a black coffin as dark soaring clouds had expected. What's gone? Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshan asked curiously. Cough cough. You guys know that dark soaring clouds and I are good friends. He once told me some things about the war god plane. In the reincarnation ocean of the war god plane, there's also a netherworld ship. It's exactly the same as this one. Dark soaring clouds coughed softly. He then made up an excuse and told them about the netherworld ship in the war god plane. What? Zhao Ritian was shocked. He naturally knew that there was a netherworld ship in the reincarnation ocean of the war god plane. However, he had never boarded the netherworld ship. Now that he heard Dark Soaring Cloud's words, could it be that the 2 netherworld ships were related? If that's the case, a mortal world actually had a connection with Emperor Yen Luo? But what's the connection? Yi Liangshan was also a little confused. They had always felt that this netherworld ship was incomparably strange. Behind the heavy fog, there seemed to be some unknown truth hidden. However, they couldn't figure out the relationship between the 2. No matter what, when we find out where Emperor Yen Luo's Tao assimilation is, we might be able to figure it out. I have a feeling that the place where Emperor Yen Luo's Tao assimilation might reveal some shocking secret to me. Dark Soaring Cloud said slowly. Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangshan also nodded. There were many different opinions on how Emperor Yen Luo died. No one knew. Now that the place where Emperor Yen Luo's Tao assimilation had appeared on the Eternal Emperor Road, there must be the truth behind Emperor Yen Luo's death. Although the netherworld ship was strange, it wasn't dangerous. Moreover, Dark Soaring Clouds and the others felt an inexplicable sense of security in the cabin. Rumble. They didn't know how long the netherworld ship had been sailing, and they didn't know what was happening outside. Dark Soaring Firmament and the other 2 all heard a violent storm. It was as if a cold wind was howling, and they even heard the sonorous sounds of battle. Those sounds seemed to be coming from outside the netherworld ship, but also seemed to be separated by endless time and space. There was an indescribable feeling of vicissitudes. The cabin was sealed. After the 2 doors were closed, Dark Soaring Clouds tried to open it. He couldn't, so he didn't bother. Therefore, they didn't know what was happening outside. Just like that, the netherworld ship sailed for an unknown period of time. When the netherworld ship stopped once again, Dark Soaring Clouds and the other 2 couldn't help but feel shocked. They had arrived at their destination. Buzz. The 2 cabin doors slowly opened, and a faint light shone in. It was as if they had arrived at another world. Dark Soaring Clouds and the heavenly demon crystal core's eyes flashed as they slowly walked out of the netherworld ship. In front of them was an unfamiliar and ancient space. The sky was vast and dark. Sand and stones were flying around. It was a desolate and barren desert. However, there was an ancient city in front of them. It looked as if it had been buried by the wind and sand. It was extremely dilapidated. The netherworld ship stopped in the yellow sand behind them. Is this the place where Emperor Yen Luo's Tao assimilation is happening? Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with incomparable shock. The dilapidated scene in front of him was completely different from what he had imagined. Moreover, where did the ocean of death go? If I'm not wrong, we should be under the ocean of death. Yi Liangshan looked up at the vast sky and said slowly, "Under the ocean of death?" The heavenly demon crystal core could not help but tremble as he quickly raised his head. The sky looked gray and was emitting a faint light. However, if one looked closely, one would be able to see that there was a strange barrier above the gray sky. There was a faint black liquid flowing on it. The ocean of death. Darkness Ling Xiao and the others immediately confirmed that they were currently at the bottom of the sea of death. I never thought that we would really be under the ocean of death. Fortunately, we have the Netherworld ship. Otherwise, it would be a fool's dream to come here. The heavenly demon crystal core said with a sigh. Don't sigh blindly. Since this is the place where Emperor Yen Luo's Tao assimilation is happening, this ancient city is very suspicious. Let's go in and take a look. Maybe we can find something. Zhao Ritian slapped the heavenly demon crystal core and said with a little eagerness. It was as if he did not know what fear was. Let's go. Dark soaring clouds and Yi Liangshan nodded their heads. They moved forward in the yellow sand and soon arrived in front of the ancient city gate. Gates of Hell. 3 big black words appeared in front of them. They were emitting a strange and chilling aura. It was as if there were endless cries of ghosts and howls of wolves. Dark soaring clouds and the other 2 could not help but tremble. Chapter 32-37. Upon entering the gates of hell, people from the Yin and Yang realms. Above the 2 city gates, there were 5 ancient words that formed a couplet. It was also as black as ink, emitting a creepy and terrifying aura. These words are written with the blood of the immortal emperor? The heavenly demon crystal core exclaimed, its eyes filled with disbelief. Although the words looked as black as ink, they still shone with some kind of divine radiance, flowing with the aura of immortality. That was why it could affect the primordial spirit of an emperor. It was creepy and terrifying. It was clearly written with the blood of the immortal emperor. Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangshan were also extremely shocked. This ancient city was too creepy. Before they even entered, they already felt chills running down their spines. Are we still going in? The heavenly demon crystal core's voice was trembling. Its legs felt weak. Although it did not have legs, it was completely terrified. Of course. Darkness Ling Xiao said slowly, his eyes were filled with sharpness. He had an unruly personality and never knew what fear was. Even if a living great emperor was sleeping here, he would still dare to check it out, let alone the place of a great emperor's Tao assimilation. That's right. Since we're already here, of course we have to go in and take a look. Moreover, we have no other way out. Zhao Ritian said slowly and looked back. Behind them, the underworld ship that was originally parked in the desert had completely disappeared. The heavenly demon crystal core felt a chill run down its spine. It immediately jumped onto Zhao Ritian's shoulder and shivered. What are you doing? Zhao Ritian glared at it unhappily. Big brother, I'll follow you from now on. I'll go through fire and water for you. The heavenly demon crystal core's teeth were chattering as it tried to express its loyalty. However, it lay on Zhao Ritian's shoulder and refused to go down no matter what. This place was too scary. It was already feeling a little lucky that it didn't barge in on its own. Otherwise, it might really be done for. Darkness Ling Xiao looked ferocious and Yi Liangshan looked unlucky. On the other hand, Zhao Ritian looked extremely lucky and had an unknown power protecting him. He seemed to be the luckiest out of the 3 of them. It would not be easy for him to die. Therefore, the heavenly demon crystal core decided to follow Zhao Ritian. As for the dignity of the heavenly demon emperor, it was about to lose its life. Let's go. Looking at the state of the heavenly demon crystal core, Zhao Ritian could do nothing about it. Thus, he nodded his head and said, everyone walked towards the ancient city. The 2 ancient city gates were made of some unknown metal. They were similarly dark and strange. When dark soaring firmament and the other 2 approached, the gates automatically opened. A decaying aura that had been sealed for a long time assaulted his senses. He could vaguely see the houses, streets, and pavilions of the ancient city. were emperor. However, the fact that the Yama emperor didn't leave behind any Taoist rhymes at the place where he had transformed into a Tao surprised them greatly. The originally spacious and empty ancient city instantly became bustling and lively. On the street in front of him, there was an endless stream of people coming and going. From the shops on both sides, the sound of hawking could be heard. Suddenly, Darkling Xiao and the others felt as if they had arrived at a market in the mortal world. Smoke and fire. That's right, it was the smoke and fire that contained the joys and sorrows of the world, as well as the joys and sorrows of separation and reunion. Looking at the scene in front of them, they couldn't help but feel their hearts calm down. Even Darkness Ling Xiao, who was decisive in killing and filled with a murderous aura, had lost some of its sharpness and gained some gentleness. This is... Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with shock. He had never expected such a scene to appear in the ancient city. It was like a bustling city in the mortal world. Wasn't this the place where Yama Luo had transformed into his Tao? However, Zhao Ritian soon realized that something was amiss. Although there were a lot of people in front of him and it was very lively, those figures didn't have any signs of life. Instead, they were filled with a thick aura of death. Moreover, they exuded an extremely mysterious power of time as if they were separated by endless years. Zhao Ritian reached out his hand to touch an old man in front of him. His hand passed through the old man's body, but the old man didn't feel it at all. He was still smiling. Moreover, no one noticed Darkling Xiao and the others. These figures should be imprints left in the world, right? This is a scene from the primordial age. It's like a mirage that has existed until now. However, the aura of death on them can't be faked. These are a group of dead people. Darkling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he said slowly, "A group of dead people? Could it be that these are the souls of the dead that Yama Luo had taken in?" Yi Liangshan's heart jumped. "It's possible." Dark High Firmament nodded. They walked towards the ancient city. There were people coming and going all around them. It was very lively and bustling. Moreover, there was a peaceful and tranquil aura between everyone's brows. Darkling Xiao and the other two were like bystanders looking at the bustling streets in front of them. It was as if they were appreciating the various forms of life. A strange feeling came to their minds. If the souls of the dead can really rest in peace after death, it's indeed a great merit, right? What Yama Luo did is very beneficial to the perfection of the Heaven's Way. If he really succeeds, he might surpass all the great emperors since ancient times and reach an unprecedented level of transcendence. The heavenly demon crystal core sighed softly. In the ancient city, everything was orderly. Every soul of the dead was peaceful and quiet. This made Darkling Xiao and the others a little absent-minded and silent. They didn't say anything and continued to walk forward. The ancient city was much bigger than they had imagined. There were fewer and fewer people in front of them. A surging river emitted an ethereal aura as if it could bury everything. Above the river, there was a stone bridge. On the stone bridge, there was an old woman with a face full of wrinkles. Her face was filled with a kind smile. Every soul of the dead that crossed the stone bridge would receive a bowl of soup from the old woman's hands and drink it all in one gulp. After crossing the stone bridge, there were 3 strange and ancient stones. Each stone was enshrouded with light like a mirror. It was as if they could reflect the past life and end the past. The Yellow Springs Path. The Bridge of Helplessness. The Stone of 3 Lives. These were all paths that the souls of the dead had to pass through. Step by step, they cleansed their karma and ended their lives. Only then could they step into the cycle of reincarnation. In the yin and yang world, life and death were separated. At the gates of hell, stepping into the Yellow Springs. On the Bridge of Helplessness, Granny Meng's soup. On the Stone of 3 Lives, mortal affinity. Darkling Xiao and the other two became more and more silent. They seemed to have become one of the souls of the dead. They stepped forward to welcome new hope and life. It was as if some kind of mortal aura had been cleansed from their bodies. Some kind of shackles had been broken, allowing them to feel an unprecedented sense of ease. As they continued to walk forward, they entered the ancient city of the wrong dead. They passed by the solemn Yama Palace and finally arrived at the vast reincarnation pool. In the city of the wrong dead, the karma of the past life was severed. In the Yama Palace, the good and evil of the present life were judged. In the reincarnation pool, the karma of the future life was awakened. The reincarnation pool had a very strange shape. It looked like a huge six-pointed star that was emitting a bright and mysterious light. 6 bright light beams shot up into the sky like pillars. They intertwined with each other as if they contained the vast truth of the world. This is the real place where the Yama Emperor transformed into his Tao, Yi Liangshan said slowly. There was a complicated look in his eyes. That's right. It seems like this is the place. Along the way, we have only seen illusionary imprints. They only existed once. However, this reincarnation pool is not simple. It is real. Darkling Shao nodded and said. They had walked all the way from the gates of hell, and they actually had a kind of travel-worn feeling. The dust around them seemed to have been washed away, and they looked incomparably clean and free. Their entire bodies emitted a different kind of aura. Now that they were standing beside the reincarnation pool, they finally felt the vast and majestic Taoist rhyme. The place where the Yama Emperor transformed into his Tao would form a special Taoist rhyme that was eternal. It was the trace of the great Tao. Unless the Taoist rhyme was absorbed and refined, it would exist forever. They felt the Taoist rhyme. This reincarnation pool was formed by the Taoist rhyme. Therefore, this was the real place where the Yama Emperor transformed into his Tao. That familiar aura is getting stronger. I feel like something in the reincarnation pool is summoning me. Yi Liangshan's eyes were filled with confusion as he walked towards the reincarnation pool slowly. Stop. The reincarnation pool is formed by the Yama Emperor's Taoist rhyme. It contains the supreme Tao of reincarnation that the Yama Emperor had comprehended. Even if the Yama Emperor had transformed into his Tao and fallen, if you step into the reincarnation pool, your physical body will be destroyed instantly. Your primordial spirit will dissipate and you will fall into the reincarnation pool forever. The heavenly demon crystal nucleus shouted with a solemn look in its eyes. After hearing the heavenly demon crystal core's words, Darkling Shao and Zhao Ritian quickly stopped Yi Liangshan. Darkling Shao and Zhao Ritian could feel the terror of the reincarnation pool. If the two of them dared to enter it, they would be in trouble. Therefore, they immediately stood in front of Yi Liangshan. It's fine. I can feel that the reincarnation pool is not dangerous to me. Yi Liangshan shook his head and said, Is that so? Darkling Shao asked again. Yi Liangshan nodded his head affirmatively. Darkling Shao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other and moved aside. They could feel that Yi Liangshan's condition was not right ever since they arrived. They were also curious about the relationship between Yi Liangshan and the Yama Emperor. Buzz. Yi Liangshan stepped into the reincarnation pool. The surroundings were filled with light and auspicious air. The ethereal light surrounded Yi Liangshan's body, giving him a strange and ethereal aura. Yi Liangshan's glabella glowed. Runes rose around his body and formed a mysterious formation. Rumble. The reincarnation pool seemed to have sensed something. Then, it started to vibrate violently. Among the 6 dazzling lights, divine chains of order intertwined and shrouded Yi Liangshan's body. It made Yi Liangshan look extremely mysterious. The ancient formation around Yi Liangshan's body released a mysterious power. A figure walked out from between his eyebrows and soared into the sky. Above the sky, it was as if one side of the sky was shattered. A vast and ancient world appeared. What? Who is that figure? The heavenly demon crystal core trembled. Its eyes were filled with disbelief. The figure in Yi Liangshan's glabella was surrounded by a vast emperor's aura. Although its face could not be seen clearly, it had an invincible and peerless aura. It was terrifying. Although the heavenly demon crystal core was shocked, it did not dare to say it out loud. Emperor. That's a emperor. However, why was there an emperor hidden in Yi Liangshan's glabella? Darkling Shao and Zhao Ritian were also shocked. However, they did not say a word. They raised their heads and looked at the mysterious scene in the sky. It was an ancient and mysterious world. It was vast and majestic. At least from Zhao Ritian's point of view, that world was not weaker than the divine world. However, there were mysterious and illusory passages in that world. They were connected to the myriad of worlds. They were built with order and condensed with laws. They contained a powerful Taoist rhyme. In the myriad of worlds, illusory figures entered the ancient world through the passages. Then the gates of hell, the road to the underworld, the bridge of helplessness, the stone of 3 lives, all the scenes that Dark Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had encountered along the way appeared in that world. It was an ancient road. It ran through the world and seemed to be connected to the heavens. It was ancient and mysterious. Are those the souls of the dead? Then, this ancient world is the legendary underworld. Dark Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he said slowly, "Could the figure in Yi Liangshan's glabella be the Emperor Yen Luo?" Zhao Ritian said in shock. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, the ancient world in the void trembled slightly. The figure stood in the world, radiating dazzling light around him. A vast aura spread out. The emperor's aura rose and shone brightly. It was a great emperor. At that moment, he seemed to be developing a supreme Taoist rhyme. The gates of hell, the road to the underworld, and the bridge of helplessness all shone brightly and resonated with the great emperor. The vast Taoist rhyme gathered and slowly merged into Yi Liangshan's body. Yi Liangshan closed his eyes. He looked happy and sad at the same time. His face became old and unfamiliar. It was as if he was a different person. In the sky, there was a rain of blood. In the reincarnation pool, there seemed to be a huge hand reaching out. Its power was extremely terrifying. In an instant, the gates of hell and the road to the underworld were crushed. The reincarnation pool also exploded with a loud bang. The palm seemed to contain the vast power of the 6 paths of reincarnation. In an instant, it pierced through the great emperor's chest. Then, the great emperor's body trembled violently. His face was filled with rage and killing intent. He seemed to be roaring something. However, his voice was masked by a mysterious force, and there was no way for it to be heard. Although the great emperor was injured, he continued to fight with the huge hand in the reincarnation pool. In an instant, the galaxy was shattered. Gods and demons were bathed in blood. A terrifying storm swept out and destroyed thousands of worlds. This was a battle between great emperors. That terrifying fluctuation made Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian look extremely solemn. Is this the truth behind great Emperor Yen Luo's death? Who is that huge hand? Darkness Ling Xiao said slowly. His eyes were filled with shock. Great Emperor Yen Luo was known to be an existence that could kill great emperors. How powerful is the person who killed great Emperor Yen Luo? Could it be a Transcendence Realm expert? Zhao Ritian's expression was extremely solemn. As for the heavenly demon crystal core, it was already trembling in fear and hiding behind Zhao Ritian. Heavens, don't believe it. At this moment, Yi Liangshan, who was in the reincarnation pool, suddenly looked at the sky with bloodshot eyes. He let out an old and unfamiliar roar. His voice was like thunder, shaking the sky. Chapter 32-38. Heaven is not trustworthy. These words were clearly transmitted into Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's ears, causing their expressions to change. They could tell that the voice that came out of Yi Liangshan's mouth was extremely unfamiliar. It was not Yi Liangshan's voice at all. The voice was ancient and filled with grief and despair. At the same time, it was exuding an invincible aura. Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other and the same answer appeared in their minds. Emperor Yen Luo. The person who said that heaven is not trustworthy was Emperor Yen Luo. They saw the underworld with their own eyes. They saw the battle between Emperor Yen Luo and the giant hand in the void. They saw the mysterious scene of the fall of the heavens and the blood of the gods and demons. These scenes were imprinted in the heavens and earth. At this moment, it was extremely clear in front of Darkness Ling Xiao and the others. It seemed like Emperor Yen Luo was telling them something. However, it was a pity that other than the words "heaven is not trustworthy," the other voices were covered by a mysterious force. They did not know what Emperor Yen Luo was trying to say. Heaven is not trustworthy. Could this be the heavenly Tao? Darkness Ling Xiao mumbled to himself. He looked deep into the sky and there was a sharp glint in his eyes. Boom! As soon as Darkness Ling Xiao finished his words, there was a sudden clap of thunder in the sky. In an instant, the scene in the void disappeared completely. The figure that looked like Emperor Yen Luo turned into a ray of light and flew back into Yi Liangshan's sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. In the reincarnation pool, 6 dazzling lights intertwined. Vast Taoist rhymes rose and surged into Yi Liangshan's body. His aura started to increase rapidly. Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian and even the heavenly demon crystal core seemed to have benefited from Yi Liangshan's light. Traces of Taoist rhymes also entered their bodies. This is reincarnation Tao. Darkness Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. Emperor Yen Luo cultivated the reincarnation Tao. Darkness Ling Xiao could feel that the vast reincarnation aura came from the same source as the reincarnation Tao fruit that Darkness Ling Xiao cultivated. Darkness Ling Xiao was curious. Since the reincarnation Tao existed in the heavens and earth, why was there no reincarnation? Emperor Yama's magnificent feat of creating the underworld seemed to have touched some kind of taboo, which was why he died so tragically. If the heavenly Tao was not trustworthy, then the heavenly Tao was no longer the heavenly Tao. Yi Liangshan's sea of consciousness has a mark left behind by Yama Emperor. Could this guy be the reincarnation of Yama Emperor? Zhao Ritian stared at Yap Liangshan. It was as if this was the first time he had met this guy. I don't think so. He should have been chosen by the Yama Emperor. Even the Yama Emperor failed to create the cycle of reincarnation. Who else could reincarnate? The heavenly demon crystal nucleus said slowly. It's hard to say. Yi Liangshan's body is hiding a magnificent monarch aura, which will only be unleashed at the most crucial moment. It must be related to Emperor Yama. Darkness Ling Xiao shook his head. Why think so much? I will ask Yi Liangshan when he wakes up. However, it's a pity that the Taoist rhyme of a great emperor was taken advantage of by this guy. Zhao Ritian said enviously. Yi Liangshan's cultivation had reached the peak of the 5th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Then, he quickly broke through to the 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. This kind of speed of improvement made people endlessly shocked. Yi Liangshan's cultivation only stopped when he reached the peak of the 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Swoosh! The reincarnation pool shone with 6 different colors and instantly turned into an ancient pool. It was like a prison, strange and powerful. It turned into a ray of light and flew into Yi Liangshan's sea of consciousness. The reincarnation pool is an extreme emperor weapon. Zhao Ritian opened his eyes wide in disbelief. What is this? Back then, the reason why the Yama Emperor was called the most legendary great emperor was not only because he created the cycle of reincarnation, but also because he had many extreme emperor weapons. If the gates of hell, road to the underworld, bridge of helplessness and 3 life stones still exist, they are all extreme emperor weapons. The heavenly demon crystal nucleus sighed. How do you know so much? Zhao Ritian stared at the heavenly demon crystal nucleus and asked. The heavenly demon crystal nucleus's heart skipped a beat. He instantly felt that something was wrong. He knew that he had spoken too much and had made Zhao Ritian suspicious. Cough cough. I am the heavenly demon crystal nucleus. I have been nurtured here for hundreds of millions of years. I have experienced countless eras. Of course, I know some things about the Yama Emperor. The heavenly demon crystal nucleus said guiltily. Is that so? Zhao Ritian's face was filled with disbelief. Indeed. However, among the extreme emperor weapons, the reincarnation pool is definitely the most important one. Now that the reincarnation pool is in Yi Liangshan's hands, he can be considered as the successor of the Yama Emperor. The heavenly demon crystal nucleus quickly said. Just when Zhao Ritian wanted to say something, Yi Liangshan slowly opened his eyes. The surrounding vast Taoist rhymes rose and merged into Yi Liangshan's body. They intertwined outside his body and formed a long black robe. It looked like a sky curtain that could devour all life. It was very strange. Initially, Yi Liangchen was extremely ugly. However, after wearing the long black robe, he looked even more majestic and mysterious. This change made dark soaring firmament and Kaorishan click their tongues in wonder. Looking at darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's eyes, Yi Liangchen smiled bitterly and said, "I know what you guys are thinking. However, I have no idea about all of this." "You don't know?" Zhao Ritian was stunned. "That's right. The formation that was carved in my body was innate. I only knew about the Yama Emperor's mark in between my eyebrows until today. I did not expect the Yama Emperor to choose me as his successor," Yi Liangchen said with a sigh. However, his eyes were filled with excitement and excitement. "The successor of the Yama Emperor? Are you sure you are not the reincarnation of the Yama Emperor?" Zhao Ritian asked suspiciously. "The reincarnation of the Yama Emperor? You are really daring to think about it. If I am the reincarnation of the Yama Emperor, who would be able to stop me with all these trash on the Eternal Emperor's Road? I will just push all the way to the end of the Eternal Emperor's Road and find the secret of transcendence," Yi Liangchen said with a smile. "Look at you," the heavenly demon Crystal Core mumbled. "Then, do you know how the Yama Emperor died? Also, what does heaven is not trustworthy mean?" Darkness Ling Xiao looked at Yi Liangchen and asked the most important question. The death of the Yama Emperor might be related to the heavenly Tao. As for the heavenly Tao being trustworthy, I think there might be a problem with the heavenly Tao. It is no longer the original heavenly Tao, Yi Liangchen said slowly with a solemn expression. "Not the original heavenly Tao?" Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with doubt. "Maybe the heavenly Tao has been controlled by someone? The owner of that hand?" Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. He was connected to the original body. Naturally, he knew what happened when Darkness Ling Xiao met the heavenly Hegemon Blade Emperor. However, even though they already had some guesses, they were still very far from the truth. They did not know what the truth was under the heavy fog. "Let's leave this place first. I have a feeling that this place is very strange. It is as if there is a pair of eyes watching us," Zhao Ritian said. "All right." Darkness Ling Xiao and Yi Liangchen nodded their heads. They went back the way they came but realized that the City of the Wronged, the Yama Palace, the Three Life Stone, the Bridge of Helplessness and the Gates of Hell had disappeared. There was only a patch of yellow sand left on the way. Even the underworld ship did not appear. However, the reincarnation pool was an extremely mysterious and powerful Apex Emperor weapon. With the protection of the reincarnation pool, Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two managed to pass through the Sea of Death safely and return to the heavenly demon abyss. "Let's go. I have a feeling that we might be able to find the answer when we reach the end of the Eternal Emperor's Road," Darkness Ling Xiao said slowly. The end of the Eternal Emperor's Road? There might be some unexpected rewards there. The heavenly demon Crystal Core mumbled in its heart. However, it did not dare to say it out loud as it was afraid that Zhao Ritian would notice something. Only when we reach the 12 Emperors City will we be able to see the most powerful elites since ancient times. I would like to see who is able to compete with me, Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with anticipation. What kind of elites are they? They will have to kneel before the three of us. Mo Peng is lucky that he ran away fast. Otherwise, he would have died and we would have been able to complete the feat of killing the Guardian. Yi Liangchen smiled proudly and his eyes were filled with pity. Heavenly Demon Crystal Core, are you not going to leave? Zhao Ritian glanced at the Heavenly Demon Crystal Core and said, "Big brothers, I will follow you from now on. I feel that those so-called ancient elites are no match for you. Big brothers, you will definitely be able to reach the end of the Eternal Emperor's Road and obtain the secret of transcendence." The heavenly demon Crystal Core lay on Zhao Ritian's shoulder and said with a flattering smile, "Haha." Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen looked at each other and laughed out loud. Bush, bush, bush. They instantly soared into the sky and flew out of the heavenly demon abyss. That was the vast and boundless Eternal Emperor's Road. That place was also where their journey was. In a mysterious chaotic space, the underworld's sacred river flowed through the heavens and finally returned to the depths of chaos. At that moment, a black boat was floating on the underworld's sacred river. It looked very ordinary, but it was emitting a strange and mysterious aura. If Darkness Ling Xiao and the others were to see it, they would realize that the black boat was the underworld ship. On the underworld ship, there was a figure standing at the bow. He was wearing a black robe and had a slender figure. However, his face was exactly the same as Yi Liangchen's. The only difference was that this black-robed figure had a cold face and a cold gaze. He looked at everyone as if they were ants. He was high and mighty. Interesting. It seems like another chess piece has been placed. The most lively Eternal Emperor's Road since ancient times. That world is about to open. A faint voice came from his mouth. His eyes seemed to have the power of reincarnation rising, covering 3,000 worlds and seeing through everything. Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangchen were clearly reflected in his eyes. There was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. Soon, the underworld ship sailed into the depths of chaos and disappeared completely. What should we do? That old man Jian Xiong seems to have gone crazy. Didn't we just take his broken sword? Is there a need for him to chase after us? Nonsense. You dug up his ancestral grave, destroyed his old ancestor's corpse, and took out a broken sword from the corpse. How could it be an ordinary item? It would be strange if that old man Jian Xiong didn't go crazy. Ox-nosed old Taoist, don't gloat. You can't run away from digging up his ancestral grave. Old goat, do you have any shame? I said to steal the herb garden. Who asked you to dig up his ancestral grave? Now, all you got is this broken sword. Not only did you not find the treasure, but you also angered Jian Xiong. On a vast chaotic ancient road, the old goat and Taoist Wu Yang were riding on an incomparably handsome white horse at the same time. They were moving forward at an extremely fast speed while chattering incessantly. The white dragon horse could not stand it anymore and shouted, "Shut up! You two bastards like to stir up trouble. Which time didn't I have to clean up your mess? If you're so capable, go and kill Jian Xiong. If you can't kill him, why are you acting like heroes here? Shut up!" The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang said at the same time. "Dragon horse, you bastard! How dare you say that? If you didn't make such a commotion and alert Jian Xiong, would we be hunted down by him? It's all your fault." The old goat kicked the white dragon horse's head with his hoof and said, "That's right. Dragon horse, other than running, what else can you do? If it wasn't for the fact that this place is too dangerous, I would have taken action and suppressed Jian Xiong." Taoist Wu Yang nodded and said, "Rumble." Behind them, divine light was blazing and dazzling. The Emperor's aura was vast and rising. The mighty sword intent swept across like a vast ocean. The sword aura swept across hundreds of millions of miles and was extremely sharp. At the same time, it was accompanied by angry roars. It couldn't wait to tear the old goat, Taoist Wu Yang, and the white dragon horse into pieces. That was the guardian of the Sky Sword Imperial City, Jian Xiong. Jian Xiong's strength was unparalleled. He was an exceptional expert that oversaw a region. Even among the many guardians of the Imperial City, he was one of the top experts. However, he didn't expect that someone would dare to mess with him and dig up his deceased father's ancestral grave. Even his corpse was destroyed. This time, he was completely mad. He chased after them personally. No matter what, he had to tear those three bastards into pieces. However, he didn't expect that even though the three bastards didn't have much cultivation, the white dragon horse had extreme speed and could shift the heavens. Its speed wasn't any slower than him, an exceptional emperor. As a result, he still couldn't catch up to them. The white dragon horse, which was shifting rapidly, suddenly raised both its hooves to the sky. It turned around and stopped. The old goat and Taoist Wu Yang were instantly stunned. What was going on? "Bastard! Dragon horse, are you trying to get us killed?" "Hurry up and run. Jian Xiong, that old bastard, is too strong. Do you want to die?" The old goat was instantly enraged. Aren't you all capable? You all rode on me and relied on me to escape. How dare you act like a boss in front of me? I'm not going to serve you anymore. The white dragon horse said in a huff. No matter what the old goat and Taoist Wuliang said, it didn't move. Rumble. Jian Xiong came across the sky and was getting closer. That horrifying sword intent enveloped the void in all directions as though it could shatter everything. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang's faces instantly changed. Bastard, we are going to be killed by the white dragon horse. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.